Hello viewers, this is Agent Stone, and I'm here to tell you that Dr. Robotnik says subscribe to Figure 8. I gotta go.
Big natural.
Right. Big ass titties on my mama.
What?
What?
You can't say
You
on
good,
my
my friend?
after saying something like that.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my goodness!
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Finalhazard podcast. You know that podcast, Figure Eight's podcast, where we talk about stuff and things, Sonic news, all and where whatever else we feel like yapping about. Yippee! I'm your host Matt,
And I am the illustrious co-host. What the fuck is illustrious? I don't know. I'm the co-host, RealSethery. You know who I am.
No, we don't. And we got people with us. We're gonna go Figure Eight members, and then
Hello. Dipping chaotic.
Hi, I'm Boostifer. Hi guys. I make stop motions on the internet. Whoa.
So
Hey, guys.
remember, guys, watch Sonic Onslaught. And yeah, that's about it.
Ooh, I love picking my nose. Let's
Why
do
would
the
you
show.
say that?
It was funny. It felt right at the time.
Oh my
It
goodness!
felt right at the time.
Oh my god!
Oh,
But yeah,
you know when you're digging in there, it feels good. It feels right.
Stop immediately. We're supposed to be talking
Fucking-
about Sonic.
bro's minding in his nose. This is crazy.
Oh my
This is
god.
crazy. Digging for
Okay.
gold.
Sonic,
Yeah,
movies, Sonic movies and nose picking, they
they
go hand in
go
hand.
hand in hand. Yeah.
What does that mean? Because kids are watching them?
Yeah, because they're for booger munching. You stop.
Ew.
Let me stop.
Jesus
And with
Christ.
that, we've lost everyone watching this video. They've turned the video off.
They
Visceral.
started
so
watching Sonic Onslaught instead.
I'm so
Yay!
sorry.
Peek.
Cut the entire booger part out.
No, don't do
editor-
Oh my God.
editor-
Get your stuff together, man.
But yeah, sorry about that. Today is a special episode because today we're gonna be talking about the number one movie in America. Don't let
The
Disney-
Lion King Mufasa.
Don't. Oh my
Yes, dude.
god.
What the fuck?
The real number one movie in America. Don't let Disney tell you any fucking different. It's Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and they're lying. They took it off all the sites. They're not low. We know what
I
you
know
did,
your ass
Disney.
almost said Mufasa
We
again.
caught you. I never was going to say Mufasa. You asshole. You guys jumped in and cut me off.
Oh my God.
What did you say about my brother, dude?
What did you
Yeah,
say
what'd
about
you
my
say
Say
about
about my
brother?
brother?
He's not as
He's not as great as my brother.
I love how
Leave a comment and say if you saw that movie, because I don't
no,
think
no one saw that.
See, that's how we're gonna
fucking movie.
guarantee no one comments.
No
Leave
one
a
saw
comment
that
if
movie.
you watch Sonic Movie 3. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. Yes. Oh my God.
Yes, dude. Yes, dude.
Finally.
It's so peak. Okay.
Yeah,
So
okay.
before we kind of like get into like the nitty gritty plot
The
details of the
spoiler
movie,
free section.
this is the spoilers free section of the video. So we'll also make sure to put chapters hopefully in the description and in the comments as well, for you to skip around and to your viewing pleasure or listening pleasure. So I'm just gonna open up with a few questions. My first question is to everybody is, what were your expectations going into this movie? Did it exceed or go below what you were expecting?
I think we should start with,
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, sorry.
I think we should start with Boost.
Yep.
Huh? Dude, honestly, this movie was a dream come true. I think I didn't really go into I think something that a lot of people were expecting was, I feel like they've been doing this with a lot with the movies previously, is that they were expecting them to do a complete 1-to-1 recreation of Sonic Adventure 2. But I already knew from the fucking jump that it would. Oh, I wasted my PGF. I knew from the jump that they were just going to try to do that storyline while still being true to what they've already set up prior. So I was already my expectations weren't low, but they were realistic, and I think they pretty much exceeded my expectations. There's so much about this movie that I wasn't like expecting them to go like through with, but they did, and I really like it. I really love this movie.
Let's fucking go, Ethan.
It's tough because it's like in the moment when I watched it, I was like, this is incredible. And then I thought about it and I was like, I have more issues than I thought. I watched it a second time. I didn't like it any less, but I still didn't I didn't love it as much. You know what I mean? It's like there wasn't a dislike, it was just less of a love. Um I still just appreciated it in general, but the thing like going into it, like my expectations were relatively high. And I think like no matter what, I wasn't gonna get what I wanted, which no was not a direct adaptation of SA2 because that was impossible from the get-go. Um, but I did expect a couple more things in there, and what I did get, I'm happy with, but a couple things still made me a little bit upset.
A little upset, just
A little upset, just a little bit, just a little bit. I guess since
Sonic.
I'm going down. Sorry, since I'm going down the list, Discord list. I guess it's my turn. My expectations going into this movie, I will say, weren't high, but like I was definitely ready for a Sonic. I was ready for a Sonic movie that wasn't gonna like feel like Sonic, and then they caught me off guard. And they gave me a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, so I'm very glad about that. Yeah,
Yes,
dude. And I'll further elaborate about that later on in this episode. But yeah, this definitely felt like a Sonic movie, and I'm very happy about that.
Well,
Seth?
felt like a Sonic movie, a little exaggerating, I think.
No.
That was a Sonic
My
movie.
expectations for this movie, going in, I was expecting more of the same. And I think we kind of got more of the same. So I wasn't necessarily disappointed on like that front because I wasn't expecting the movie to like do a complete like tonal 180 and make it all game kind of stuff. But for what it is as like a kids family movie, whatever you want to call it, like it's about like it's about what you come to expect from these movies, and there's a lot of like cool Easter eggs that a lot of like longtime fans, especially of like Sonic Adventure 2, can like point out, and those moments like they made me smile. Um, but yeah, I just kind of expected like another like fun like family Sonic movie, and that's kind of what we got.
Yes, dude.
Oh, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yes,
I
dude.
do have choice words to say about this movie, a
Me as
little
well.
more than I did the previous one. But
It's
that's the next
strange,
topic.
right?
That's
It's
a
strange.
that's
Because-
for the next discussion.
Well, of
point.
course, without spoiling, it's interesting because it's like it always comes down to the like topic of like, well, which one would you rather watch more, or which one was better? And I'm just like, see, this one had higher highs, but talking about those lows, it's just strange because it's like when I finished that movie, I looked to the person I watched it with, and we were like, that one was good, but if you asked me if I wanted to watch Sonic 2 or 3, I'd probably say I'd rather watch 2 first.
It's great. You answered my question before I got to ask it, which was
Oh.
how does this movie compare to the previous ones, and which one so far do you think is the best?
Or your favorite, your personal favorite.
So
It's-
since I kind of went, I'll go last this time. So you guys go first.
I think I don't know, because I feel like the main detriment for Sonic 2 for me was the wedding scene, the wedding stuff. I already like Sonic 2 a lot.
Alex's
But
YTP made it funnier.
I think I think I'm gonna have to be with the majority opinion or the loud majority opinion and be like, yeah, this one's my favorite. I'm also super biased because I really fucking love the game that it's loosely based on. So
Exactly.
you know, I've destroyed my PG like swearing like count like multiple times. I'm
That's
so
fine.
sorry,
This is
parents at
this
home.
is an adult podcast, I guess.
Frick.
I gotta
Oh
be
my-
flicking kidding me, dude.
What the flub?
What about you, Matt? Is this
Um,
the best one? Is it good?
for
Is it bad?
me-
Does it suck?
Is it good? Is it? Okay. I
Mhm.
think for me, this is my favorite movie of the trilogy. But I have said in conversations that we've had, like, I think if I was to say compare like which one I think is a more complete movie, or like what I think is a more complete movie, or like a more of a movie, like I would say like I had a much like better time watching like Sonic 2, like because it's
Right,
a
yeah.
complete film. But that's just because like that is like, it just has so much going on for it. Like I know Boost brought up the wedding scene in Sonic 2, and like I know a lot of people don't like that scene, but it is some of my favorite stuff in that movie.
I think it's funny.
Next to like, I think the fight in like the labyrinth zone. I don't know if that's what it was, like in like labyrinth zone, like the fight in labyrinth zone and all the fucking like, and then the fight in and then like just the final fight, the supersonic fight at the
Yeah.
end. Like those are like peak Sonic movie to me. Like those are like peak Sonic to me. And then like the sequel added more of that, like did more, it felt like it did more of what they did at the end, but like I don't think like it's entirely was what it could have been. I really wanted the characters from the wedding to come back, you know,
Yeah.
because they add because the human cast, say what you want about them, I think they add a little more substance, a little more like, you know, stuff and things to the movie that we probably wouldn't have gotten, and they're really good at their job. So that's it's a thing. But yes, Seth, it's your turn.
I think it's a weird question because I feel like the answer is gonna change, like depending on like the day or how I feel about
Yeah.
the movie. But Sonic one, Sonic. I'm not even gonna count Sonic 1.
Yeah, no,
That's
I don't
because it's so different. But so Sonic 2 and 3, like the strengths Sonic 2 has and the strengths that Sonic 3 has, they share strengths and they also share the same weaknesses. And what one movie might like cover the strength, a few more strengths, and one might cover a few more weaknesses over the other, and vice versa. So like to me, they're roughly equal, but like again, if you were to ask me like which one is your favorite, I'd probably say 2, like one day, or maybe I think about it some more and say 3, because like I think 3. I'm gonna say the complete opposite of what you said. I think 3 feels more like a movie than the previous 2.
Nah.
Hold on. I think just down from like Jeff Fowler's like ability to direct like CG and animated scenes is because like that's his bread and butter, right? Like he got his start on Shadow the Hedgehog's like 3D cutscenes. I think like those are directed like phenomenally. Like so, like it's they kind of show this off in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. But Sonic and Shadow's fight in Shibuya is like is awesome. Like it's probably the best, one of the best fights in this like movie series.
In fiction. No, I'm kidding.
In fiction, and just like the color choices feel really nice. Like like to me, the biggest problem Sonic 2 had, like for me, was like it kind of like at some points looked like a CW TV show.
Oh yeah, this movie, I feel like Sonic 3 really does like great with the color grading. I think there's like so many shots in this movie that like would look great as like a screensaver
Mm-hmm.
or a wallpaper or like just like I feel like if I was a kid when this movie came out, there's so many like shots that would like I would print them out and then just like tape them to my wall or something like that.
Oh,
Honestly,
like
just because how pretty it looks sometimes.
I'm glad you said that because if I was a kid, like this would probably be my favorite movie like ever.
Yeah,
Like like I'm an adult now, so I kind of have like this like and I like look at like stuff like movies and TV shows and story, and I like to put them under the microscope a lot more now. But like as a kid, like if I was a young kid and I watched this would be like the greatest movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
See,
Like,
okay.
yeah.
Oh wait, were you done, Seth?
Yes.
Okay, so my sort of thing, and kind of looping back around to all three of the movies, because Sonic, oh my god, because Seth wrote it off completely. But the thing about these three movies is that they all feel so different. Like cut out the writing because the writing basically stays the same. But like in terms of how they're made, what the story is, what they're going for, all three of them are just different. It's like three different experiences all the way through. And I know some people say Sonic Movie 1, it just isn't a Sonic movie straight up, but I still like it a lot, and I'd say it's a Sonic movie. I mean, no other characters besides Eggman and Sonic. Sonic is the main focus. It's a Sonic movie.
I do not agree with you, but
That's okay.
but that's okay, exactly.
Because at the end of the day, it is just the Smurfs, but Sonic. The Smurfs like 2011 or whatever it's called.
That
You guys
movie
know what
sucks.
That movie
You know what I mean.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
movie.
Like,
Like
No,
I
it's-
wouldn't see. I wouldn't even compare it to Sonic because like at least Sonic is it like the Sonic 1 is not like it's not
Bad.
like fucking bad. It's not
Yeah,
horrible.
no, you knew what I like conceptually. Like you can replace Sonic with any like you could replace him with that. Oh my god, blah, you could replace him with like Crash Bandicoot. It'd be the same movie. Yes, that is true. But I still like it, and I still think it's a Sonic movie.
It's
but
fun.
But Seth, I don't know. I think Sonic Movie 2 is much more of a movie because despite how good like the fighting scenes are, or like the Mobian exclusive scenes are of just the characters in movie 3, you can like the downgrade in quality when the humans show up in terms of like cinematography and camera work. It's so easy to tell, to me at least. It's just like, man, this camera is going fucking wild. Like the characters are moving. It looks so good when Sonic and Shadow are fighting. And then we get to like Eggman, and it's just like, oh, this is the CW show. Like that's how
Yeah.
I feel like Sonic Movie 2 has much more a much more consistent look throughout, at least. And I even feel like the wedding stuff like is still shot pretty fun and like has some like interesting stuff to it.
that's what I
Like-
was. That was what I was thinking.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
that's how I felt.
Right. I feel like just all around Sonic Movie 3 is much more inconsistent, which is why I still think Sonic Movie 2 might be the most movie out of them. But that's the thing that also holds Sonic Movie 2 back, is that it's so Hollywood movie compared to
Yeah.
movie 3, which has all of its references, all of its BS, everything combined, you know. But still messes some things up. So
That's a good point that you bring up where we get to a point, because I feel like this is also something that the Mario movie suffered from.
you might want to
But
project a little more.
where so hold on. Let me speak up a little bit, okay?
Speak
so
to the people.
There was something going on with the sentiment you hold is like the exact opposite of how people were feeling with the Mario movie, where it was constant. It was super fast paced. It was very much more of a eye candy fest than it was an actual. It did its job as a movie. But then we get to a point where it's like, okay, this is a movie based on a video game. What are we prioritizing most, right? And I feel like the smart person, the logical response would be, this is a movie. It should feel like a movie. Like the movie part should be prioritized the most. But then there's an argument that I haven't seen brought up a lot, which is funny because I see this brought up so many times when video games are adapted into like comic books or TV shows or any other medium that isn't a video game. And it's the fact that video games in themselves are their own art form and have their own voice to them.
Right.
That I feel like that the more I sit on that, the more I think, okay, should the voice of the source material be, especially in something as something for movies, films in particular, their job is to kind of overall, it is to tribute the source material, right?
Mhm.
You see this with things like Spider-Verse and the Spider-Man movies. They're praised often when they are when they feel the most like a comic book, and that made me think, should I hold that against not only the Mario movie, but also should I hold that against Sonic Movie 3? Because I feel like part of what makes its identity as a movie so unique is that it feels like the source material has such a vocal, like it's so vocal.
Yeah,
throughout
very
the movie.
loud. Yeah.
To some people they would, I feel like it is a logical thing to be like, yeah, as a movie it should prioritize being a movie first and foremost. But to me personally, now that I think about it, the more I think about it, I'm just like, you know, it's a movie based on a video game. It is a video game franchise that is celebrated around the world. So it is a pop culture. Sonic the
One of the
Hedgehog is a
most-
huge. It's one of the
Yeah.
most huge pop culture icons of all time. I think it's and the more I think like sit on it, the more I'm like, maybe it's a good thing that it feels like a video game, cameo, not cameo fest, but maybe it's a good thing that I Wojak every time I see a video game reference. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it is a good thing. Maybe the voice that is presented with it, being so loud about its source material makes up for the fact that makes up for all the other parts about the movie that aren't really source materially. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I see, and you know what? And that perfectly segued into the last question.
Wait, hold on. I will say
Oh.
before that, my kind of defense about that a little bit is that, like, despite all that, it like my kind of thing is that, like, I like, as opposed to the Mario movie, where I feel like the Mario movie does understand what it's doing with its game references, as there's not much vocalness to Mario Kart. It's like you drive around in a
Yeah.
cart. But the sort of thing about it is that
And
I
Rainbow
feel
Road.
like the directors of Sonic Movie 3 just didn't really understand why certain moments were important. But we
Oh,
can get
okay.
into that more. Like they present you with like your look at that. But they're like, they don't get why that moment initially was as important as it was. But we can get into the next
Yeah.
question now, because we can talk about that when we get deeper into it.
Yeah, so I think, but like really the real like the last final question was, is this movie faithful to SA2?
And I,
But,
I
like,
go first.
And I feel like yeah, the real like answer is fuck no. But it's a very well done tribute to SA2, but it is not faithful. It does its own things. Some things I don't know if they're better than SA2, but they're definitely like, it respects it. It respects what Sonic Adventure 2 did with its story and its
It respects it as well as it can. I
yeah,
believe.
That's
as well as
actually
it
a
can.
Yeah.
that's a good word to use. I wouldn't like tribute. I wouldn't say this is an adaptation at
No.
all. It's
Yeah.
what you said. It's a tribute to SA2. It's got all the things that make you go, I know what that is, and point at the screen. But like at the end of the day, it's completely its own original like source. Like it's its own
Mm.
thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
I want to know, like, I guess in summary, before we jump into the spoilers of it all, is this movie good?
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
There's more nuance, but the easy answer is yeah. I had a
Yeah.
good time with it both times.
I'm
Absolutely,
inclined to agree. I think it's a good time. If you haven't seen it, it's not out in a lot of places yet. So when
I
it
believe
comes
the,
out,
I believe the Philippines are like, you guys aren't getting this movie for like another 2 weeks or something like that.
that's so ridiculous.
They get it on they get it on the 20th of January, which really sucks.
Why can't movies just come out at the same
Yeah, I
time?
don't know. This sucks. This stuff sucks.
They speak English.
What
over
was I
there.
gonna say? I think not only is it a great sequel, but I also think that it is honestly, and it's gonna. I feel like with time, this statement is gonna age better. I feel like it is a great jumping on point, not for the series, but I think that if you want to watch a Sonic movie and you want to like, if a friend just wants to watch a Sonic movie and they have never watched the previous two, they can honestly just watch Sonic 3 and see what the hype is about, and they would be just fine, I think, for the most part. That's my I don't know if that's a hot take, but I don't think that I think that Sonic movie 3 does its job as a movie enough for quote unquote new fan to jump on and be like, I get it, you know.
I don't think it's
And then
very
they can go
standalone.
What's up?
I don't think it's very standalone. I disagree with you.
Okay.
There's like
Go.
because like I feel like I feel like if you did that, like the whole movie, your buddy who has never seen Sonic would be just like, who's that? Oh, that's Aiden Stone. Oh, who's that? Oh, that's Dr. Eggman.
Okay, that's a good point.
Who's
yeah.
that? Oh, that's Tom. That's like Sonic's dad. What? Yeah, like it doesn't work on its own.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I get that.
But yeah, I guess it's spoiler time, my friends. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, pause this video, put
You better
another
run.
tab, come back when you've seen it.
Come back in like an hour and 50, and then
think it's
Or
like
in 3 weeks when it comes out.
in 3 weeks when it comes out in your country, and we'll run it back. We'll talk about it.
Yes, dude.
I think there was like, I know you wanted to go, we want to kind of like give our thoughts in chronological order. The opening scene, I believe, if memory serves me right, it's the Shadow backstory. It's been a couple weeks.
It's like it's like flashes of it before he
It's flashes
breaks
of before he breaks up.
Yeah. I think.
I like how Maria plays like a little acoustic version of Live and Learn in his dream sequence on the.
Oh yeah. Okay.
nice.
I'm gonna say something that over the past few weeks I feel like has divided honestly more than I thought it would. I think Maria as a character in this movie is like a bajillion times better than how she's characterized in the source materials. I can't lie.
Yes,
lie.
dude. Let's
I-
go.
She
I'm
feels
not-
more like a person.
It's 50-50, but I prefer her in the games.
This is
Okay, here's what I'll say before we really get into it with Maria, because like we'll talk about that when it's relevant. But like I think Maria's like, I think her being characterized as this like fun, like she feels believable as like a kid, right? And her
Yeah.
dynamic with Shadow, is very sweet and nice, and it pulls in your heartstrings.
And you know what? I feel like if movie Maria was written like I don't know how to explain it, because maybe not accurate to like game Maria, but like if if her like the way that she was written in the same strokes that like Gay Maria was written, I don't feel like the audience would really care as much. Because I'm gonna be real. I think watching this movie as a longtime Sonic fan, and then especially I was with my girlfriend when watching this, who was also a longtime Sonic fan. Um, when we when we like when we cut to the Maria portions of the movie, we were already like, oh man, they're gonna do it. And then when we actually started like watching the parts about the movie with Maria in them, it hurt like 10 times more.
Oh.
And because like we know what's gonna happen. I I feel like there's so many parts about movie Maria that just like it makes the audience smile so many times, and I feel like in that way, I feel like when the thing happens, it's 10 times more effective.
Oh wait, are we in spoiler territory yet?
Yes, we are
Yeah.
in spirit.
I want to hold off on Maria thoughts until like the story like brings it up because there's like I got choice words to say.
Well,
all right.
I was gonna say in that opening 2 minutes, so I can discuss this. The moment that I was like, oh, they're doing this, like this movie is happening, this movie is real, is when she does the little live and learn tune. Like that's when I'm like, oh wait, they actually care. Like this is gonna be a Sonic movie.
that was exactly the moment where I was like, this is a Sonic movie.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Which
makes me very happy. Like that is for what it's worth, the movie's opening is incredible. It's like it's really, really good.
Because I'm gonna just like, because I'm saying like every time for like the past like back in 2020 and then in 2021, 22? Was it 22 that Sonic 2 came out?
Sonic 2 came out in 2022, yeah.
Okay, like every time I walked into that movie theater, right? Every time I walk into the movie theater, like I know in my mind and in my heart of hearts, I just purchased a movie ticket to see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But I didn't go into that, and then when I sat down and I watched the movie, I was like, this is not, even though I'm seeing the Sega splash screen and all that shit, this is not, my brain is like, it's turning, and I'm like, this is not a Sonic movie. This is just a movie that happens to be called Sonic the Hedgehog. This was the first time I sat down and I was like, I'm watching the Sonic movie that I deserve, that I want, that I wanted. And I was like, let's fucking go. I'm being rewarded for being a fan of this franchise. And I think that's what I really like about this movie. And I think that's why it's really standing the test of time.
Yeah,
for me.
I think they realized how important the opening was, and I feel like with Sonic Movie 2, like I did like it, but after I watched it, I hadn't watched it in forever. And then when we all visited each other, well, me and Seth at least, we watched the movie again, and I was like, dang, this movie's really good. And then I watched it like another time back at my house with my parents, and I was like, I really like Sonic 2 a lot. I was like, yes, I like this movie. So I feel like give it a year, and my thoughts will be pretty different, maybe? I don't know. I still feel like I'm going to be a little bit of a stickler about this because of just SA2 in general, but that's all I wanted to say for that, at least.
So then Shadow breaks out, and that scene is pretty damn cool.
It's so fucking...
It's
so
like with
aura.
Like if there was any way to introduce Shadow to like general like audiences or like kids who've never experienced like the origins of Shadow before, like this scene is like, it does like boom, here's Shadow the Hedgehog like incredibly well. He's like efficient, he's strong, he's kind of scary, like even though he kind of looks like a puppy dog sometimes.
I will say, no Prison Island explosion. Gerald's a fraud, that's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, this guy doesn't even know how to be a villain.
This guy literally did. What? They could have exploded it. They should have. They
but
should have. Yes.
So one thing,
Interesting choice that Prison Island is off the coast of Japan. By the way, that's
Yeah.
like really cool.
I think that's interesting too, because like you kind of just like think of Prison Island like it just exists in a space.
Well, it's
Yeah.
based off of Alcatraz, right? Like,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
original.
Yeah.
one
But yeah, that's like off the coast of Japan. It is pretty cool. I like the setup. It's fun.
And just
The-
like Shibuya and like Tokyo, like in the distance, and he's like gliding across the water, and he's like moving like a snake.
it's so fucking good.
It's pretty good.
Just to like run it, just to roll it back, you know, like a few seconds, like, when Shadow breaks out, there are a lot of callbacks to the opening animation of Shadow the Hedgehog 2005.
Yes, dude.
And
that was great.
that like that made me pop. Like I was like, I don't scream in movies because I'm a fucking decent human being.
Yeah.
but-
No, you can say it. You're a
Yeah,
decent
I'm a
person.
decent-
I'm a
Yeah.
decent person.
You're a decent human being. Yes.
And there were people, like general audiences in this film. I didn't get to see like at the early fan showings because
Oh, okay.
AMC doesn't fucking exist in my area.
Well,
And but overall, like every single scene, like where like every single hype ass scene in this movie takes me back to like, just like always like takes me back in time every time. Like no TJ Davies, but like takes me back in time. And there's and like when I saw Shadow beat up those soldiers, it took me back to, you know, watching the commercials on TV for Shadow for like the Shadow game, and I was like, yo,
Shadow of 5, yeah.
and I was like, yo,
They're-
they
they're-
made this movie for me. I'm gonna keep saying that.
Like it really does make Jeff Fowler's like career kind of come full circle with
Mhm.
like the Shadow the Hedgehog
yeah, he-
like references. Like I feel like he was born to direct this movie a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, he definitely did that intentionally. He was like, "This is my first job. This is my first job. This is my first job. Look at this. I did this my first job too. This is my first job," which is great. Good for him, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
So after Shadow's introduction, we kind of we catch back up with Sonic and friends, and they're kind of like they're celebrating Sonic's like birthday, not his birthday,
It's his Earth Day.
His Earth Day.
or Earth Day,
Like
as they call
birth. Yeah.
yeah, and like where he first arrived to Earth. I don't know how they found that out, but it's pretty cool. We get to see like what the characters are up to, and then we're kind of introduced to like these gun like emissaries that come, and they're like, we need you to go beat up Shadow because we fucked up. So that kind of like transitions them to the fight with Shadow in Shibuya, and I said it before, but I'll say it again. Oh my fucking god, it is so well done. Like that their first interaction. It's not I found you, faker. It's not even that close.
Well, wrong
yeah.
dialogue. First
Wrong
of all.
dialogue. I'm excited. I like SA too. I just downed an entire like big gulp sized Slurpee.
Baja Blast. Flavor?
No,
Oh.
it was blue raspberry. Not sponsored by the way. But yeah, it's not exactly the same, but you still get like Shadow, like he teleports and then like, wait, what? Like it's mirroring
It's like
that
So-
scene.
well, no, it gave more like that scene is like a more of like a tribute to the you know, the fucking I see what's going on around here. The
Yeah.
military is mistaking me for the
Yeah.
likes of you. Blah blah blah
That's
blah.
what I meant.
Yeah, that scene. That's
We even get a little shot for shot recreation of from the Shadow opening where Sonic's like dead
You
on
can't take
the
us all
floor,
on. Okay, he took us all on.
and like he falls down and he's in front of Shadow. And let's talk about Keanu Reeves.
No, well, I was gonna say I got a bone to pick with Junkie XL.
Oh, I do as well. I do
But
as
do you
well.
want to talk about Keanu first?
But let's talk about Keanu first.
Okay, you can talk about Keanu first. Those are not some inspiring opening lines, I'll say. They weren't, to me at least. But as the scene as the scene goes on, he gets better dialogue and his deliveries do get better. But
like through the movie, he's very solid. I
Yes.
like his performances.
So
It's not the same as whatever the hell he was doing in that Shadow DLC cutscene.
Chaos control. Okay, so for me, how I feel about it, it is like an inkblot test. It is of course the performances are different ends of the spectrum on the separate sides of the universe, but it is an inkblot test where it is like you either like Ben Schwartz's Sonic or you don't. You either like Keanu Reeves' Shadow or you don't. It is a thing that is completely person to person. Like our friend hates Ben Schwartz as Sonic, but I think he's good. It's just like a thing of like, if you like him, you like him, because there's just a varying in his performance, in both of their performances, that you can like and dislike about certain things, the way they say stuff. I think why do you look like me? First off, bad dialogue. And the delivery just also doesn't inspire confidence.
That was my issue. Like I've never seen a Keanu Reeves film, right? My only experience with Keanu Reeves is like Cyberpunk. Is like wake the fuck up, Samurai.
And I think he's pretty good.
Like
in Cyberpunk. I know people were nervous, but I think he's pretty good in Cyberpunk. He's funny.
Yeah, my whole thing with him here, I don't know. It's always I feel like it's always the case with like celebrity voice actors, or when they get a celebrity to voice a character. It's like it's either you get like them just doing themselves or whatever, or you get like this like really like iffy performance or whatever. Like not everybody can be Bill Murray Garfield, okay? But like see, but like
not everybody can be Idris Elba Knuckles, okay?
But Idris Elba is I think is a good pick for Knuckles, but he has the problem, and I talked about this in the Knuckles review.
Go ahead.
I know about this in
what we said.
the Knuckles review. I said this in the Knuckles review, but he has the problem is that the character writing does not suit the performance that he is giving. I don't think, but I'm getting off topic.
I think Keanu and Idris Elba, like there are certain bits in the movie where they're supposed to like scream because they're fighting or whatever,
exactly.
and it just doesn't sound very convincing.
Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, Idris could not do a pained scream. He was just yelling.
They reused they reused that scream like 2 times throughout the movie, by the way. That scream was that exact clip was reused like 2 times. I turned to my girlfriend every time they played. I was like, "That's the exact one." And she was like, "Yeah, that's the exact one." We were both like, "Yeah, it's the exact same one."
And don't and don't get me wrong, both of them incredible acters, like incredible.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying. Where it's just like it's an inkblot test. Like it's not like I'm I guess being harsh here, but it's not like the game voice actors where it's like they're all pretty dang good. So
I just don't I don't know. Is it, as you guys are voice actors and you voice and stuff, like is it, and like I don't know if you've ever done like theater productions or whatever, but like does the acting not translate to like just like physical like in person like on screen acting not like translate to voice acting?
I think it really depends, because when you're an on camera or a theater actor, you're most likely acting in front of someone or the other actor.
The non-voice actor didn't respond.
I have acted before, motherfucker.
Like I was like trying to. I was also talking about like theater, you know.
And what with voice acting like back in the day, and it's slowly coming back now, is that voices were recorded like together. I don't think they did that in this movie because they definitely sound kind of out of context with each other. in certain scenes.
Yeah, they don't. That I don't think this movie was recorded in the same room at all. I think
No, I just watched
and
the Game Grumps episode, and I do not think it was. The only Ben said he did like 1 or 2 sessions with Colleen for movie 2, but movie 3 separate.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Which I just
Yeah.
watched that Game Grumps episode like a couple hours ago, so fresh information.
It's I don't know. It's I think that how should I say this? I feel like I feel like the movie versions of these characters. I mean, it's actually it's not debatable because it's true. The movie versions of these characters are modeled after their actors more so than the actors are picked specifically to fill in the role of the character. Um, I feel like part of the reason why
Which
this
is funny
Sonic
for a reason we'll
is
talk
not
about later, but continue.
part of the reason why this Sonic isn't like doesn't act like Game Sonic is because it's not Game Sonic, it's Ben Schwartz Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's also.
And that's not
Oh, sorry.
that's I mean that's not that's not like I'm not gonna be like that fucking guy to be like that's objectively not a good thing or whatever, but like it's definitely like that these characters, the characters that the people that they pick for these characters, they're the characters are gonna be molded after them, not vice versa.
And that's
Right.
just
Yeah.
kind of like
That's just the truth of it. Like, like
how
there's
it
no
works.
debate. Like, I'm not gonna fight that, you know.
like
Unless they get a bad
And-
actor, but
to use an example, Iron Man. Everything Iron Man before that movie, that movie and Robert Downey Jr. and his performance and his just like presence as that character and his like own personality and stuff infused into that character created what we know today as Iron Man. Because that is not like go back to everything pre Iron Man 1. That's not how Tony Stark acted or looked.
Yeah,
or,
just watch the Iron Man cartoon.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
not
old-
it,
the
like
old-
you would
the
be like,
the
"That's not
90s
my
Iron
favorite
Man
guy."
cartoon. He's just kind of like in the Iron Man cartoon. He's like smart guy, and he's like very paranoid about his shit. That like he's very paranoid about his technology and stuff. But like he's not an asshole.
I want to say also that for Sonic in particular, I don't think there's a lot of room for people to like I don't think there's a lot of room for people to be super harsh on it, especially in this current day and age, because I feel like it's Sega's fault, number one, that Sonic as oh my god, we're really gonna turn this into a voice actor debate. I hate this because I won't shut up. But it's Sega's fault for not making Sonic sound consistent for the past 20 years until the last 10 years. So now people that grew up on, the 90s era through to the 2000s, they the way that Sonic sounds to them is completely different from the way that Sonic sounds to some kid that, just graduated like high school like 2 months ago. That is so weird to say. That feels really weird. Damn, I'm really unking myself right there.
Well, yeah, because
But
no
the
one
point I'm
graduated
saying-
2 months ago. It's January.
Oh my god, whatever, dude. Shut up. Damn. The people there's a part about Ben Schwartz as Sonic that's like there's a point of contingency where people are like, he sounds too much like a kid. Sonic doesn't sound that high. And then there is a point to that because nowadays Sonic sounds all the way down here.
Hey, he sounded good in that Tails tube.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he did sound good. But the point I'm trying to make is that the whole I can't get mad at Ben Schwartz for making Sonic sound so high, and the energy is misplaced, but the general sound of the actor and the character, I can't call it alien because Sonic has had like a history of sounding like that, especially in the material that they're not adapting, but tributing. The Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, that's the 90s right there. Sonic sounded pretty high and, lots of energy right there. Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic definitely has a lot of energy. In fact, it's one of the games where people like to quote Sonic the most because he has so much energy,
Sonic Adventure 2, you mean?
Sonic, yeah, that's Sonic Adventure
You
2.
you just said Sonic 2.
Did I say Sonic 2? Whatever. I said Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 and whatever.
But yeah,
Anyway.
I definitely agree on that front because I think we're also going to be just getting into characterization in general. A lost thing about Sonic is that he's quick to anger. I think my biggest thing is that Sonic is full of emotion, but he feels his emotions fast and loose. And that's what makes him quick to anger. That's what makes SA2's story so fun, is that he is getting mad, that Shadow's running around being a little bitch.
It's kind of like that Cowboy Bebop episode where it's Spike and the gang are on a mission, and there's this like other asshole bounty hunter on a horse who like pretty much acts as an exact mirror to Spike, and Spike is just fed up the entire time. It's not exactly the same, but it's a very like similar idea.
Yeah.
When you said like quick to anger, I felt like that was kind of where the movie got towards the end. But like but like he was like justified, but he was, to be fair, he was like justified.
He was completely fair in being upset.
He was, and he didn't stew in it. He didn't get the chance to stew in it like either. He's like fuck it, I'm gonna go fucking kill that guy. Yeah.
Other performances, Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails, fantastic as always.
She just does the best job.
Yeah, of course.
She did incredible, and I think, of course, we're not going through the plot as properly as we should be, but they gave Tails so many good moments in this movie, and she did them incredibly. I think one of my favorite lines is when she's like "Cheerio," like in the British Tails accent, saying hi to Stone before she almost kills him. Like, it's amazing. Like I think there's a lot of good lines that she has and delivers them incredibly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just remembered like a point. And I was about Ben Schwartz, and I wanted to mention it. He's kind of typecasted. He's gonna typecast.
Absolutely.
If you've ever seen any cartoon in which Ben Schwartz voices a blue main character, that character will always be the same, or not even like
they're always happy-go-lucky, quippy.
They're always happy-go-lucky, quippy guys. Like the first thing I ever saw Ben Schwartz in was Randy Cunningham, 9th grade ninja, peak cartoon. And like that, you never saw it. Yeah, no. It's peak Ben Schwartz. It's actually a really good show. But yeah, he's just like very like everything he does is just Randy Cunningham. And it's like, and I'm not mad at it, but I'm like, but like there were just moments throughout this movie I was like, bro, I know like you're giving this emotion. Like whenever like Sonic gets mad or like he's serious, he's like, I'm not gonna let you do this anymore. Or something like that, like it just kind of goes like that. I'm like, I need you to get mad, bro. Like, I need you to get pissed. Like, stop. Like I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna put you down, bro. Like, or some shit like that. I don't know. Just give me something. Give me something.
I think movie Sonic inherently presents Sonic more. How should I say? I feel like
more childlike. I mean, that's as much as you're gonna get.
That's not what I'm getting at. Ben Schwartz, I feel like they're squeezing as much wit as they can out of the guy. When I feel like when Ben Schwartz was initially announced to voice Sonic the Hedgehog, and growing up on Randy Cunningham, I feel like Randy Cunningham had way more aura than movie Sonic. I feel like Randy Cunningham could say the stupidest shit and still back it up with like the hypest fucking like shebang, whatever the fuck.
That's why I'm saying like you can get that out of him. Let him cook. Like let him cook. Like that's all I'm asking. But I just kind of I'm sorry, I kind of derailed and brought us back to like the fucking topic that we already finished. So Seth, you can continue with the summary.
Let's continue. Well, I still want to talk about performances. Lee Majdu as Agent Stone, he's killing it as
Beautiful,
always.
handsome man.
We love that guy.
He's perfect. Yeah,
We met him.
perfect.
We kissed him.
We did not do that.
Wow. Okay, that's crazy.
You gave him a handshake, a firm
Maybe
handshake.
you didn't. But
I give him a firm handshake.
He's a very nice guy in real life. He's fantastic.
Very nice. Yeah.
Badass Agent Stone is in this movie. Like, I didn't know I ever needed badass Agent Stone, and I wish there was more.
Shirt ripped off, and you can see his muscles.
Okay,
That does happen in the movie, though.
okay, we had to talk about it. We had to talk about Agent Stone's pectorals.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey, as always, great. He's doing his Jim Carrey thing.
We'll talk. We can get into that more later, but continue.
That's crazy. But
That's kind of it for the cast. So
The girl who plays Maria, I don't remember her name.
she does a great job.
She does a great job.
She does a great job.
With what she was given,
sells
she
that
does great.
character.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's doing like they're either doing great or they're doing satisfactory. I think like there's not a bad performance in the movie.
No.
So after kind of skipping forward a little bit, after they like fight Shadow like escapes, and then they go to the Chow Garden, guys. It's the Chow. It's like a little Chuck E. Cheese like place, and I love how Tails is just absolutely having the time of his life there. He loves it.
Performance.
And we meet what the gun commander?
Commander
Walters.
Wikipedia says Walters.
Walters.
Walters. Yeah, Commander Walters.
So
I knew that off rip.
and
Alright,
he kind of gives like the Spark Notes version of Shadow's backstory, and if you know Shadow's backstory, you know exactly what he says. But this is the part
he says more, but he does not mention the arc.
This is the part of the movie where I started to notice some strange editing. The movie is there's like, and I don't know if I'm the only person on call right now that noticed this, but this movie is edited very strangely in certain sequences. Like Commander Walters doesn't even get to say like hello. He's just like
he just sits down and
they
he's
just
there.
they just boom, and then they cut to him talking the backstory. And I was like, whoa,
I fucking like this movie has some extreme, like some really bad pacing problems that like fuck up scenes that should like just be like, there should be like a lot more impactful, or like I feel like you should spend a little more time.
Yeah, and it's all the editing like choices.
Because once again, like we keep, if you've been listening to the conversation that we've been having, we keep going, especially me and Ethan, we keep circling back to how we feel like Sonic 2 is more of a movie than this.
Yes, yeah.
And and that is because Sonic 2 is like a 2 hour, like what, two hours movie?
Yeah.
Well, this is a 2-hour adventure movie, yeah.
While this is an hour and like an hour and like 30, hour 45, hour 30, something like that. It's like, so like they considerably chopped off a lot of the runtime compared to its prequel, and it's like, and then like you can see where these like you can literally feel the cuts, you can feel them cutting the weight off of the movie where they didn't need to cut the weight off of the movie, you know?
I feel like the entire Chow Garden scene was like 10 minutes longer, probably. Like that might be that might be an exaggeration for sure, but like that had like what they cut made it feel like it could have been 10 minutes longer. I don't know. I know that sounds funny, but At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Like, and
Also,
this all
I can't
Oh.
I can't talk about because just I don't want to skip around, but
okay, but also too, like this scene with Commander Walters in the Chow Garden cafe, whatever the fuck it is. He mentions that when he starts talking about Shadow's story, he mentions that he tells Sonic like Shadow's story began a lot like yours. It's the big trailer line.
Shadow
you know,
Story began a lot like yours.
Mhm.
And this goes over one of the big themes about this movie, is the found family. Because we saw like is like this trilogy of movies is the found family, and we see how and they can basically go over how like Sonic found his family, and they're all here, they're sticking around, but like Shadow's family, the motherfucker is dead. The motherfucker is dead. He has no one. He's by himself. He's a
and
crash
the only person that is around is kind of a piece of shit.
As we come to find out later, we didn't even know he was still around. That's like the crazy part.
Mhm.
And yeah, sorry to cut.
No,
cut
but like that's
you.
a good point to bring up. I appreciate that the movies kind of have this overarching theme of like, I want to say companionship, family. But like it's
Sonic,
not
you
the
forgot
same every
one
movie.
thing.
I appreciate that.
Should have got Vin Diesel to voice Shadow.
Well, I mean,
Or
he didn't
Knuckles.
voice Groot. No, not Knuckles.
Can't front actually.
And then we kind of going forward, the gun commander fucking dies.
That shit took me out.
He fucking died.
He ate it all. He ate it someplace other than Olive Garden once and died.
They didn't even mention Olive Garden. Maybe if he did, he would
Oh
could
my
still be alive.
Mid.
That was so. Oh my god! I'm sorry. They tried to play it like I could tell they were trying to be genuine with the scene, but like they did not. Dude, he died like 2 seconds after he was shown. Like it was so fucking funny. I couldn't.
Also,
help it laugh.
that's what, like there had to have been more because he just dies. And also, dude, there should have been like I know it's a kids movie. I get it. There should have been blood. There
Just on his like
have-
forehead or
on
something.
Yeah.
somewhere.
Because
somewhere.
To be fair, it didn't. I didn't get the implication that he was dead.
Exactly.
It just didn't feel like he was dead. It felt like he got injured. He got injured, and then that was how they were gonna write him out of the movie. But I don't think they should have fucking. You know what? They shouldn't have killed him. He should have stuck around.
He probably only
stuck
had
around.
a contract for 3 movies.
I know, no, but I know not. That's not what I think. He should have stuck around a little longer. There's a scene later on that I think where they use the actor, but they use it, but they use it as a way to write out another character out of the final act of the movie, and I think it's the wrong choice. I genuinely think it's the wrong choice.
I think Commander Walters should have boxed Gerald Robotnik.
Exactly.
I think they should have done throwing hands.
What you should have done, right? In a perfect world is you because they kind of like do this throughout the movie, and you can talk about it later, but they kind of set up Commander Walters as like the Tom of like Shadow's Tom, low key, like if you like low key, they're
like
kind
the
of like
one the one adult in his life that wasn't
the one
like
that wasn't a fucking asshole or a megalomaniac. Like,
but we keep
Yeah.
talking because I'm just like I want to mention the issue with that connection and how it just doesn't work writing wise. But
I'm trying to like, because like I see scenes and like I said, it just feels like there are things that were fucking cut. There's just things that were fucking cut that would have made this character, because Commander Walters, when Commander Walters showed up, I was like, I don't know, I don't remember who you are. Like nothing.
What? You didn't remember?
No. Would you bringing up the whole Olive Garden thing? I was like, wait, that was the guy who gave the Olive Garden gift cards
yeah.
and shit, bro. I didn't realize that was him. I just thought he was some guy. There's some old guy who worked a gun. It might be because I'm like fucking. I have the memory of a goldfish sometimes when it comes to these things, but like I just did not remember him, and this was the only time where I was like, oh, I remember you, and I want you to do more, and I want you to do more, and then but instead of getting to see you do more, you just fucking died. It sucks.
We get Badass Agent Stone, and we get Sonic and gang trying to find out what's going on, and we get
goat milker.
We get the gun agents turn on Sonic, and then we meet Eggman, and he's sad and watching soap operas.
Which was a carryover, apparently, from them supposed to be hiding out in Mexico, which is very funny that they really wanted this movie to travel the world, sort of like Sonic Adventure 2 does, but
Sonic Adventure 2 doesn't travel the world.
They go to a lot of different locations, though.
Yeah, but it's all in like one city.
Dude,
No.
the egg golem is not in a city. What are you talking about?
It's in the look
at
the world map. The world
Oh.
map is only on like a desert, like a freeway away.
Okay, your point.
It's not over the world.
It might as well be Sonic World Adventure, bro.
It should be.
We already have that game.
Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Says the fuck yous guy.
It was gonna be in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
That scene was supposed to be in Mexico with the egg crab. But okay, continue with the plot synopsis. Pat, we're good with that. They found him.
It's basically like if you've seen all of the trailers, then you've seen them. If you're still watching this part of the video, you've seen the movie. They team up with Eggman. They meet Professor Gerald, who is still alive, with no explanation because they cut that out of the movie. That is confirmed.
Which makes no sense, but whatever.
He's got like Shadow's quill, so you can infer, I guess, that like the powers of chaos is keeping him alive, or
which
something.
Also does nothing. In the scene where Walters explains how he got arrested, he is holding the quill, and it means nothing, and it never means anything.
Because he still has it in the present, so why didn't they take it from him?
Well, I mean,
don't know.
Well, I mean, it could have been. It might explain why the thingy, the Eclipse Cannon.
Yes.
Why the Eclipse Cannon runs on Shadow.
Yeah.
But also, they should have explained it. You can't like mirror something without it having mean anything, and then also use it for a joke. It just doesn't work.
Like there are shot scenes of how he's still alive because he says he's like 110 years old.
They think they say it twice.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. That's strange.
The old man smell.
And then we kind of get more on Shadow, on his backstory. We get to see Shadow and Maria's first meeting, which is really sweet. I like that scene a lot.
It's good.
And then we do get a little conversation between the two of them.
Well, I was gonna say we get a BioLizard cameo.
We do get a BioLizard cameo.
There's a BioLizard cameo?
Yeah,
they're
God, you're
watching,
one of those dummies.
Okay, what? Anyway, they're watching. It's when Maria and Shadow. It's during their montage of them like hanging out, and they're watching them
right
they're
before
watching,
their conversation.
That didn't register as BioLizard to me. That registered as
it is
Godzilla.
I'm asking Matt and everyone who watched the movie who didn't realize that. Did you guys watch that scene with your eyes closed?
No,
that looks exactly
I
like the BioLizard. I don't know how half the people didn't pick that up.
Fucking Godzilla, the
that is movie? Yes, that's the BioLizard. It looks identical to him.
The puppet looks exactly like the SA2 model. It even has the big machine.
It has the wires going down his mouth. And his back.
I'm just saying it didn't click with me that was the BioLizard.
Next time you watch it, like pause it or something.
I'm gonna be
because I just thought that they were doing fucking Japan references because that was what the movie was doing the entire time.
Godzilla down there.
That was what the movie was doing for the first 40 minutes. So I was just like, okay.
Look,
I don't know, Ethan. I don't know why you're being so mean.
I'm being mean
furious.
because guys, if you watched that scene and didn't realize it was the Bio Lizard and you like SA2, you're a fool. And
It's my
Ivan,
favorite. It's my favorite video game.
and
but,
Ivan, if
you
you're
know,
watching this, you're dumb, bro. But yeah,
like I don't know. It just
Okay.
didn't communicate.
it's just
what it
so
was.
clearly obvious to me that I'm just like, did you guys watch the scene with
It-
your eyes closed?
It looks like go like, next time you see the movie, just like look at it. It looks exactly like the BioLizard.
Look, everyone does not stand for me. I'm just a meanie. So yeah,
Asshole.
I do not
What do you
represent
guys
Figure
think-
Eight's views.
What did you guys think of Maria and Shadow's little conversation that they had in the flower field? Because I really like that scene.
I like it a lot. I do have issues with it, but it's only because he's not like Game Shadow, and that's really like that's the issue where I'm just like I have to lay down and be like that was never in the cards, you know. So yeah, that's how I feel. I think I like in the moment I loved that scene, but looking back, I'm just like, man, the writing is strange, but it's for what the movie is doing. It's great. I like it.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, because since we're already talking about spoilers, fuck you guys. I think
We've
that
been We've
they
been
did
talking about spoilers.
they kind of paralleled the game version because the flower field is obviously on Earth, right? And instead of the whole conversation being centered around the wonder of like going down to Earth and experiencing Earth for the first time, it's literally a reflection of the game version where it's like, I wonder how the sky and or like the stars and space are and all that stuff. And I thought that was really freaking cool how they kind of spun it the opposite direction, but like the theme of the or not the theme of the conversation, but the point of the conversation was made. I think it like was really effective, and I think that's one of the many changes in this movie that I feel like they did super well with the material that they had, while also still making sure that the themes are still intact. And I thought that was awesome.
It definitely adds to Shadow's feeling of loneliness, so specifically because he doesn't really know where he came from. Because in this version, Shadow is not an artificial being. He like landed on Earth as like an asteroid egg.
Which is super interesting because I can read what they're doing like a mile away, but
It's interesting, but they don't do anything with it.
Which
they're
you know
not
for
doing
sure they're gonna
anything with
follow up
it
on like a
yet.
spin-off or something.
Is the thing, because they're totally setting up for the Doom stuff, but I feel like they really want to isolate. I feel like they really wanted to isolate like how should I say this? I feel like they didn't want like that amount of. I feel like they wanted like people questioning, but not to like a suspenseful degree. You know what I mean? In this movie, we know that Shadow came from space in an egg type thingy. That's all we know. That's all that we can infer. For a lot of people that follow up with the games, we're here thinking, oh, it probably has something to do with Black Doom and all that stuff. And they're probably setting up for something with that later on down the line. Don't know if they will or not. That's me.
It'll probably be in the like a Shadow.
I mean,
show or
I
something.
mentioned, well, in my like I said, in my perfect world, you know, I don't know.
I wanted to also say that this is probably an unintentional reference. I don't think it's really a reference at all. But the egg asteroid that Shadow landed in kind of looked like Space Godzilla with like the crystals when he like landed on Earth. And if you ever seen Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, Space Godzilla travels through space in like a crystalline like egg kind of form, and it kind of looks like that. I also want to bring up, because this is the perfect opportunity to, and I knew Ethan is itching to talk about this because we've been dancing around it. The biggest change, and I think as a introduction of this, as a version of this character, Maria is not sick in this
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about
version of
something
the
else.
story.
That is a strange
And Shadow,
strange
because
choice.
if you're watching this video and you don't know the real lore of Shadow, SparkNotes version, Shadow is a creation of Gerald, and his blood through science is meant to be a sort of antidote for his Maria's she has like an immune deficiency disease. I forget.
NIDS. It's called
Yeah,
NIDS.
it's an acronym for something, but it's an
NIDS, yeah.
yeah, it's an immune deficiency disease, and she's very sick, and like the whole dynamic between them is, well, in the original they're in space because they're on the space colony arc, and there's like that, like Maria never gets to see the world because she's sick and being treated all of the time, and the being in space thing doesn't necessarily bother me too much, but I do think it was a major missed opportunity to really hook us to Maria and Shadow's relationship without their their sickness and their desire to go out and see the world. I think that really like kind of misunderstands their backstory, because they long for a life they cannot ever have, and then the accident happens and they can never have it ever. And I think like if you took that aspect from Maria and Shadow's dynamic in the game and you combined it with like the friendship that they have and their dynamic in this movie, you'd probably get like one of the best iterations of Maria and Shadow's flashbacks, I think. And I think it's a real missed opportunity.
I can for sure agree, but I do think, and we should finish the plot synopsis first, but I do think there is no proper retelling without the arc. Like, we'll get into that more later, but no arc, you don't have me. But yeah, I really like I really like Maria, but it is just so interesting that she is not sick. And like from a writing standpoint, I don't struggle, but it just does make me think like, what was the thought process? Like what was on the card? Like genuinely, like what was on the table to do with Maria and what wasn't? Because of course we've gotten to the point of the story where we learned she was killed. Like, what was okay for her to have been shown? Because clearly she was okay with getting killed. Like, she was okay. Like the writing and the producers and how it was formatted for a kids movie was all right for her to be killed. But like, what wasn't okay? What wasn't on the table in terms of Maria's character? Like, that's what makes me wonder. Like, was she allowed to be killed and not be sick? Like, you know, like what was it that just didn't happen? But that's just a question, obviously. I can't like, we can only speculate so much.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Exactly.
Is it too much? Is it
right? Like is it just a lot, you know?
I feel like Maria not being sick doesn't take away from her character.
I think it kind of disagree, but explain.
But like,
I think
okay, so here's where I am. Like, right, the story of like, you know, the tragedy of the arc, right, is that it just feels like senseless. It's just senseless violence. It's like violence for the sake of violence, you know. It wasn't really like necessary. Right. If you're going based on the SA2 version
from
of the story,
storytelling perspective, or from like in universe logic perspective,
in universe logic, I don't know. Yeah, because like from the SA2 version of the story, like I know like Shadow adds more context to why the raid on the Ark happened. You know, like they found out fucking Gerald was fucking in bed with Black Doom, and they wanted to cut that shit right there. But like,
but you also find out that the Eclipse Cannon was made to fight Black Doom.
Yeah. It just
Shadow. Look, we're ignoring Shadow.
Shadow just fucks everything up. But like
SA2 is peak, and Shadow doesn't exist.
But SA2's like whole thing is like these soldiers They just like one day they're like, okay, he's wilding, he's doing too much. Like he made this weapon, it's too strong. We got to get rid of him. Like it's just like the whole thing in the movie. It's just like it's presented like, okay, all of this shit that's going on is because people made one of the themes, one of the things that they do in this movie. The first thing, one of the thing that Tom and Maddie say to Sonic and Co. before they leave to go deal with Shadow, right? In Shibuya, the last thing they say to him is make good choices, right?
Okay.
And everything that happens in this movie is the result of bad choices of people making bad choices, basically. So like, you know, the military, the gun makes a bad fucking choice by, you know, manipulating this energy, the energy that this like fucking alien has, without understanding the consequences. And then when they find out the consequences, they're like, okay, we're just gonna fucking lock the alien up. We're just gonna get rid of him. And then they fucking kill a little girl. And they kill a little girl in the process. You know, that is tragic. That is the tragedy. There is the story of Maria is tragic no matter which way you spin it. And I don't think that, oh, because she's sick, it makes it even more like, you know, sad, or like it's better. I don't think that's what that is.
I have to disagree with you, because
Sadly,
Shadow,
I do as well.
because in context of like the game versions of the characters, Shadow's entire like his entire existence basically is to cure Gerald's granddaughter, right?
Yeah. And
but as we've come to find out in more recent developments of that story, Shadow and that front of his creation is a failure. Shadow's like blood cannot cure Maria's disease, and that is like, it's a more recent development, yes, but it's a very like, it adds this layer to their dynamic, and to that like, to Shadow's purpose. It adds more to the hurt that Shadow feels,
When
yeah,
yeah,
and and it also makes like, the movie does a fine enough job with like making Maria a likable character, but without that aspect of the backstory, you remove a couple of things that are incredibly important to the plot of SA2. And we're kind of going out of order here, but I need to bring it up because we're talking about Maria. Maria's sickness and her inability to see the world is a key part of Shadow himself, because when Maria is killed, and like the entire dream of seeing the world is off the table forever now. When we get that in the game, we get the Shadow give them a chance to be happy, the promise to protect the world,
grant everyone's wish.
Maria loves so much. That whole like piece of the pie in the movie version is missing. So when we
there is
Shadow,
no promise in the movie.
there is no promise to Maria to protect the world, so that when we get to the point of Shadow at the end of the movie, like turning around and wanting to protect the Earth, it still works on like a basic level.
Yes,
but
on the
the
base.
oh, okay, so
on the deeper level, it's gone. Like it's gone. Like it's not there. And to me, what we got was fine enough. It was satisfactory. But I think it would have been
better.
It would have been better if we had more time with Maria, more of that established relationship from the actual lore, and like I don't know how you would do the whole like Shadow's memories are manipulated thing because I'm a critic. I'm just the critic here. I'm not.
I don't even like that aspect of the character. But I think
To be fair, it's very contentious.
but
I think it's
but the
important
fucking
because
memory manipulation. Sorry, but the memory manipulation. I think I said it fucking like 3 episodes ago or like 5 or 6 episodes ago. But like I feel like Shadow. Well, I think the thing that makes Game Shadow and his stories interesting, especially like SA2, Shadow the Hedgehog, is like him basically fighting against these people who are taking away his autonomy, like his ability to think for himself and to act for himself and act on his own thing and act on like his own like merits or whatever he wants. Like that's what's always made his character interesting, and that's why I like him. And movie Shadow and Shadow Gens also doesn't have that aspect of his character that's lost because it's
in Shadow Gen's case it shouldn't be that case.
It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Yeah, that's what I think. Like that's lost, but that gets lost. But like I don't know. I just think that that movie, like this movie, is telling it's like I said before, it's not an adaptation of SA2, and I think that's where I feel like that's where our like disagreements are coming from. Like, because I feel like it's a tribute and it's doing things with these characters that's a little different. It's a little different. I don't know.
You know what? And it's fine that it is different. However, I genuinely believe that one is better than the other. Because like even the memory manipulation thing, going back to that Shadow and Shadow's autonomy, the tragedy of Shadow isn't just Maria's dying or Shadow is locked away or they never got to achieve their dream. Like that's definitely a big, again,
that's part of it, but
that's the piece of the pie analogy that we talked about earlier. Shadow's memories being manipulated and his like the last memory of his best friend who was stripped away from him was manipulated by a guy who could give two shits about Shadow's personal feelings. And that's another big piece of the tragedy of Shadow the Hedgehog. I like this version of the story enough. It's a satisfactory intro version, I guess. But like,
and then if you want the real meat and potatoes, you go play. And then when you want the real meat and potatoes, you go play the fucking game. And you're like, yo, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what? The characters actually get to be cool.
And like, I think, and like to me, this is one of my big like marks against the movie. And I know we've been talking about how it's not, it's never gonna be 1-to-1. It feels kind of like diet, like and I knew what to expect when coming into this movie. I can still be a little disappointed on that front. I think, again, I don't hate it. It's satisfactory. I'm gonna use that word a lot. But like it could be better. To me, and this might be a better discussion for when we're done talking about the damn plot. But like to me, there is a great Sonic 3 in the editing project.
Yeah.
But the movie that they exported or whatever and released to us was just the good edit.
And I'll throw us back on track to the plot synopsis. With that issue of just diet SA2 in hand is that Gerald, of course, he's Gerald in name only, to me at least. But the one of the things I hate the most is when he shows up, as we were talking about, when he introduces the idea of the Eclipse canon and he's writing in his prison cell, it loses so much meaning about the original. Like the entire importance of in SA2, his prison cell and Sonic being in it, it's like that was the ramblings of a madman. That was the final moments of someone who was about to die. And in SA2,
that was not the equation. Those are not equation. Like, it's just like, what is it? Like, it's just his fucking manifesto.
it's just
right?
his insanity, him losing his mind. But then in the movie, he's just, I made the Eclipse cannon in prison, and it just doesn't make any sense.
He said it was in exchange for his freedom, right, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I not?
I'll say.
So they cut this motherfucker loose.
I think the lot of the context is lost from the cut, like scenes in the movie.
I will say.
I want to talk. I want to ask
before
you,
you-
Boost.
Yeah.
I wanted to circle back to like what everything that I just said about like Shadow Marine. I want to know what your thoughts about all that was.
I think
'Cause I think it's very important.
I think, okay, first of all, okay, Maria and Shadow's relationship, we'll get to that in just a second, but I want to throw a bone here and say there's an element about this whole movie that makes it distinctively different from SA2, and it's very, very loud when you realize it, is that SA2 has an element of horror in it that is missing a ton from Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is an action adventure, it's a comedy, there is not an ounce of body horror or tragic horror, or there's SA2 relishes itself, and Shadow's story in itself in the main canon there's always been like a genuine, like, tragic but very violent, like, horror element from the implied, like, gory deaths of Maria,
multiple scientists,
Gerald Robotnik, multiple
And
scientists,
their families.
the
by the
art-
way.
no, something that I realized the moment that Sonic
False
3
chaoses as
was
well.
going to be, the moment I realized that Sonic 3 wasn't going to, there's two moments when I realized that Sonic 3 was not going to be one-to-one with SA2. Like, there's not a chance in hell that the directory that these movies were taking, there was not a chance in hell that Sonic 3 would be accurate to SA2 beat for beat. The moment I realized this was when the first trailer came out. The second time I noticed with this was when they turned the BioLizard into a cute little cameo, because the BioLizard in itself thematically is like scientific sci-fi horror, and
It is the physical manifestation of the monster Gerald wants Shadow to be.
It is, yeah. And I think that's also part of why I wasn't looking into it as critically as Ethan or Seth was, because I knew from the get-go that these movies, even with Maria's death intact and tragically so, there was the tragedy of Maria's death is intact, and I feel like it was done justice the way it was, as much as they could, at least. But I feel like the moment that they delved into Shadow's part of the Sonic mythos, I realized that these movies from the beginning were always kind of afraid to tackle the kind of horror elements that were implanted into Sonic since the beginning. And that started with the Knuckles series, and I argue maybe Sonic 2 as well, but
This is my jam.
I think like, how should I say this? For starters, the Space Colony arc in itself is a ghost town. When you play SA2, there is an element about it.
Monsters. It's just the chaos.
It's
The
just
false
robots,
chaos is roaming
artificial
around. Yeah.
chaoses
It's
and robots.
Yeah, it
And-
is. Yeah, there's
And
the
empty holes.
Space Colony arc. The moment I realized that they were not going to do the Space Colony arc like that. Well, actually, I guess
I didn't realize it until very late in the movie.
I was disappointed that there was no arc in this movie.
Oh no,
Exactly.
I mean,
Then there was
that's-
just like,
yeah, I
and then,
didn't.
like-
I wasn't honestly I wasn't expecting the movie to even like like I wasn't even sure if like they would go into space like that, like they would in the
Yeah.
movie, honestly. But um, I feel like and it's very because I'm conflicted here because I'm there's an element about it that's like okay you there's an element about it that's like this is how could this be answered without being repetitive um the short answer is that from the beginning I knew that this adaptation of Sonic in general, this universe of Sonic in general, they're going into it from a different like like there is nothing comparable about movie 1 that you can compare to like the games. The moment they treated Sonic like a kid rather than like a
Cool
like a
badass teen.
like a not even a badass teen, just a being that exists is like the moment that
Sonic is a force of nature.
yeah, the moment that I
Sonic
realized
is
that
like
these
the wind.
movies no, unironically though, the moment that I
No,
realized
I
that
know.
Sonic in its like Sonic from the beginning was going to be taken a different direction entirely, the moment I started realizing that um the there's a lot of elements about SA2 story that they were not going to do how should I say they weren't going to handle with care to the extent where it's kind of in between the lines the way that SA2 is. Um, I don't know what else I can add on to this other than it lends itself to being more of a tribute to Sonic Adventure 2 rather than like a one-to-one adaptation. I don't know
Yeah.
how else I can say that without it being more
I
repetitive than
will.
it actually is.
I'll say it is a loving tribute. However, like the approach does kind of unfortunately remove some of the things that I feel like would have just made the story
Better.
just better.
Just
Yeah.
Gerald Robotnik is the biggest fucking.
I want to talk, and this is piggybacking off the Gerald thing. I want to talk about a specific gripe that I have with all three of these movies. So back to the plot, I guess. Like they infiltrate like a gun base in London, and it's really boring. Um,
Oh, I
there's like
like
a
those scenes.
there's a fun
It
scene.
takes too long.
There's a
I guess
fun
so.
scene with like the gravity like chamber, like aha, there's anti-gravity stuff in SA2, isn't that fun? Um,
Then also
there's
the
like a
don't hold back scene, which the laser scene, waste of time. You could have made that 30 seconds. Would have been funnier if it was shorter.
This is the problem I have. Every Sonic movie has this shoehorned in like dance sequence that I feel like only exists to jingle the keys on the screen so that the kids in the audience can reset their focus back to the movie.
Because you I think Seth, I think you got it. You got it in your like your introduction to the scene. The fucking shit, like the build up to the laser scene is boring as hell.
It's so boring.
Everything like I thought that like because like
And
you
that
see them like breaking down their plan and it's like you see like the character like Tom, Maddie, Sonic and Tails and Knuckles like breaking down the fucking like plan about how they're gonna infiltrate this base and yada 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 and it just goes on and on. It's the same joke. They tell the same joke 3 times and I'm like, okay, bro, enough. Just cut to the thing.
It's also another gripe. It's an example of another gripe I have with these movies is there's always a bit where Sonic and friends need to be off screen for a little while, and I think I'm tired of it. I'm tired of like the how to make a Sonic movie tropes. Dance scene. Have scene where the Sonic characters are not in the movie for a little while. Have like I don't know. Somebody call Google Maps ask dialogue.
Somebody call Google Maps.
That joke is fine. But we get past that. And we brought it up earlier, but Tom has like a change face device. Why did they turn it into why did they turn the James Marsden, a white person, into I forgot the actor's name.
Shamar Moore.
Shamar Moore. Why did they turn him? Why did he turn into them? Is this weird? Is this?
It was extremely weird. It was
this
extremely
weird?
weird. And I sat there and I was like, no fucking way.
and
And I was like,
sorry.
bro, I was just sitting in the theater. I was like, no way they just put blackface in the Sonic movie.
Is that fucking blackface,
Fucking
dude? No,
blackface.
it's a hologram. It's a hologram.
My favorite joke in the movie is a few minutes before that when they're like, the base is in London, and then she's like, oh, London, and Tom's like, see, I told you we'd get there one day. I don't know, just the delivery on that joke is really funny to me, just like how positive and wholesome it is. Told you we'd get
Some
there one
funny
day,
lines
babe.
in the movie. Like
Yes.
there's some
It's
funny
really
bits.
good. It's a really good movie. It's like just the movie's funny, but like there's just points where I'm like, when is enough enough? Like because like my issue is you had all this breakneck pacing in the beginning of the movie, like where everything was just going full speed, and then all of a sudden you want to slow it down. Like just like, and it's like, but it's like slowed down to like a screeching halt. It feels, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like it's being slowed down to the screeching halt, and it just took forever. Like the scene in the gravity chamber and the scenes afterwards, I think are some of my favorite parts of the movie though.
The gravity chamber scene is really cool.
It's so cool, and it's like really like fucking.
That's a creative
And
like fight
fun,
with the
yeah.
environment.
And it makes it like, and they ramp up the tension. Like you feel the tension. Like I was sitting there, like it was a real nail biter. It's a real nail biter, you know.
Yes, in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like like with the spikes, like if Sonic wasn't there on time, like they would have died.
They're dead.
Yeah.
Dead. And then Tom like turns into the gun commander.
Walters.
And then and
Commander
then
Wal-
Commander Walters, and then Shadow appears, and before this he kind of had like an interesting scene with like Agent Stone. I almost called him Dr. Stone.
I've been calling him Dr. Stone like every other day, so
and I don't remember if this is exactly it's a part of the movie where Shadow kind of like slips up and reveals that like they kind of want to kill everyone. And he like Agent Stone tries to call Eggman. He's like, shit's going down. We're making a huge mistake. We cannot trust this guy. And then Eggman breaks up with Agent Stone, and that's the saddest part of this entire trilogy. And then Shadow shows up to the base. He recognizes Walters as the guy from the military base that he was in 50 years ago. He attacks him. Turns out it's actually Tom. If Shadow hits him, if Shadow spin dashed into you, I feel like all of your ribs are crushed, right? Like your entire chest is caved in. There's no possible way.
He should have
that
chaos
still-
blasted him. He should have chaos blasted him.
Holy shit! You want him to die?
Or a chaos
No.
spear.
He should the attack on Tom should have been more severe as opposed to
Attack
a
on
punch
Tom
to
is
the
my
chest.
favorite. Is my favorite anime.
Shut up. Okay, I wish he had either punched him in the face, punched
Break his jaw.
Well, I mean, he
Yes.
punched him in the sternum. It's
sternum
like
check.
he punched him in this. He punched him in the fucking chest. That's his heart. I think.
I still think there
well,
should have been something a
well-
little more intense about it.
Well, remember, there was also like the thing about like your heart. Like every single fucking thing that happens in this movie is like
Is
a
on purpose.
thematic has a thematic purpose. It's like you have to like I don't know if it's me like I just like I like when I was watching the movie I was like, okay, because they're gonna like bring up like the themes. They did a really good job like holding themselves to like the themes of the movie and the like the thematic purpose. Like they really wanted to teach you. They wanted to teach a lesson with this movie, and I think like and you see the characters learn that lesson. Like Eggman learns a lesson.
The heart
fucking
is a
Shadow.
big, the heart is an important like thing.
Having a heart. It's like Kingdom Hearts, bro.
And being like later in the movie, like hit me in the like right here is like in the same spot as Tom. Like it is important.
Yeah, and making the right choices.
And after Tom is hospitalized by Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, we're almost done with the synopsis.
The scene becomes
Sonic-
very blue. There's a ugly blue filter outside of the. I know it's. Are they
That's
supposed
just
to
what
be
London
at night?
looks like, bro.
No, it's London. It's raining.
I see. Anyway, it kind of
It's cloudy. It's cloudy.
My-
It's cloudy.
Liam pointed it out to me, and I looked at it again, and it bothers me. How
I think
blue it is.
I think the implication was that it's supposed to be cloudy because like it's a very somber, sad moment.
Sure, and
you
it's
know?
London, and it rains all the
And they're
time.
in London and it rains all the time.
And basically, like this is our segue into the reason why you came to watch this movie, the finale. Sonic kind of he.
Well, first
him and-
off, the Eclipse cannon goes into space.
yeah, because that's why they were in the base to begin with, is to get the access to the Eclipse cannon. Then we basically get like our segue into the finale. Like Sonic wants to
will
use
bleed.
the Master Emerald to use the Chaos Emeralds and turn super and kick Shadow's ass. And it's established earlier that they're like, no, we cannot use the Master Emerald. It's bad. We hid it away. And we find out that like Knuckles gave the Master Emerald to Wade.
Die.
And Wade's fucking playing hockey with it on his
He's playing
roof.
hockey with it. That made me laugh. That was funny.
That was funny. Fucking asshole.
I hate
Doing
Wade.
everything wrong.
No, Wade is my goat. Wade is
Wade
I'm
is
a
not your
hashtag-
goat.
I'm a
This
hashtag
is
Wade
my
warrior.
jam.
I just unless we did we forget the Knuckles show happened?
that show sucks, but Wade is my goat still.
Okay, okay, buddy.
Like in the movies, because he doesn't overstay his welcome. We get Supersonic, and he goes and he wants to go kick Shadow's ass, and like this is the coolest part of the movie.
It is the
He
coolest
just-
part of the movie.
And he pulls up when he pulls up on Shadow, and it's just like, oh my god.
They're like fighting, like they're fighting for a bit, and like the emeralds get separated, and then they both turn super at the same time.
Okay,
and-
wait. Run it back. The way Shadow just fucking like palmed his fucking like hand into Sonic's chest and knocked the emeralds out of Sonic was the hypest shit. What the fuck, man? There was so much aura in just the one movement. He just like, if I had a webcam right now and showed you guys, it was just whoosh, like that was crazy. That was insane. What the hell?
If I had a nickel for every time a piece of Sonic the Hedgehog series media called Sonic the Hedgehog 3 had Super Sonic get the Chaos Emeralds knocked out of him by his newly introduced rival, I would have 2 nickels.
Which isn't a lot, but
But, you know, it says something.
Oh,
it's very cool.
oh damn, we glossed over one of the things before like Sonic went off. Like him and Knuckles' little face off. Like,
Him and Knuckles.
Him and
get into
Knuckles
it a little bit.
have been like butting heads the entire movie. I felt it was like just a little bit,
Yeah.
like they just like but
I like that bit of like kind of restraint from Knuckles. He's the one who's got the level head in the situation, and like you kind of had Tails like a little worried, like we're supposed to be a team, you guys. It's that clip from Jimmy Neutron where he's like, "You're
oh you tried to do that and it fucked up.
and it didn't work.
It didn't work. It just
I can tell, but you know the clip. You know the clip. If you're a real one, You know what I'm
It's
talking
funny
about.
because I initially praised Sonic 2 for like not having a falling apart scene, and Sonic 3 does it. But it's okay here. I think it's more okay.
Because
Well, the whole
they're
movie is
more
about
established.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm very glad that Sonic 2 does not have like oh my god, why am I talking about Sonic 2? I'm just glad Sonic 2 does not have a scene where it's like Tails is like, "You are not as cool as I thought you were." No. Okay, whatever. We're done with that.
But yeah, like him and Knuckles kind of get into it, but Knuckles kind of like is like, okay, but you know, remember our choices and shit. So
Exactly.
and it circles back to the theme. The theme is it's a good theme. It's it's good.
Because
I
we
almost
see
said it.
what
I almost said it again.
because you see what happens when people make bad choices. You get your father figure gets his fucking chest caved in,
Yeah.
and
Or you start wanting to, kill people.
yeah, exactly.
And then we have a big, awesome Dragon Ball Z fight with Super Sonic and Super Shadow as they
Holy
fight
peak,
across
man.
the entire world. And we even get a recreation from Man of Steel, where he like where it was like Superman punching Zod like across different parts of the world, and even does
Yes,
like
and
the
like
camera
zooming
shots.
out, zooming back in.
dude. It's so fucking peak.
It's really cool. Like that. Like again, Jeff Fowler, man, his directing animation style is really cool.
Yeah.
And they fight for a bit. However, this is back to my my no fun allowed version of me. They keep cutting back to Eggman and Gerald having like Jim Carrey versus Jim Carrey silly fight. It's like there's this popular tweet right now where it's like the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is like it's the clip from Broly where Dragon Ball Super Broly where like Gogeta and Broly are like having their big epic standoff, and it keeps cutting back to like clips of the Grinch. It's like it's exactly like that, and it really like it messed me up. Like I couldn't. It was hard to get invested in the cool stuff a little bit. Again, a great version of this movie is hidden in the editing.
I really think I get Sonic fans, and look, Daniel Barnes, I have to butt heads with you, buddy. Like I remember when people are like, "No, like guys, we shouldn't be hyping ourselves up too much, like because then it's gonna all come crashing down." And Daniel Barnes was like, "No, Sonic fans, be as bold and brash as you want to be. We should not be gassing up the the Gerald spanking Eggman scene. It's
That
just
shit's
not.
This shit's so stupid.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Like
It would have
I
been fine if it was not being cut
directly.
in between Super Sonic
Yes.
and Super Shadow's Dragon
Yes.
Ball Z awesome.
Yes, yes, yes.
It,
Like I
that
get it. You can think it's funny, but no. It is just poorly edited. It is not a good cutaway, and it's like we should not be like, I get the movie was good, guys, but we can't say it was every little aspect was good. I like, as Sonic fans, we got to back off a little bit and be like, yeah, that probably shouldn't have happened. I
There's a
don't
lot of
care.
editing choices that are just not good editing
Yeah.
choices.
there's but I think you know what I think it was um they were trying to this movie was trying to do something with Eggman and Gerald being like these like bizarro reverse versions of the characters.
Mhm.
Like, what if Sonic had one bad day, you know?
Okay, Joker.
It's fucking Scourge, dude. Um, or like, what if like Eggman just like didn't give a fuck anymore? Like, that's what Gerald is supposed to be, and it's like, I don't know. It's not doing the thing that it's supposed to be doing. But that's just
Yeah.
me.
A lot of the finale is like really cool and also doesn't hit at the same time. Speaking of doesn't hit, actually, let me
this is random. But the joke about scorpions being arachnids were too smart for me. Because me, I talked about this with Ivan, other figure member, and in the moment I was like, I didn't know scorpions were arachnids, so I thought the joke was just wrong for a second.
You didn't know?
What?
I did not know.
Wait,
neither did
wait.
I. Neither did Ivan. Neither did Ivan.
How?
Wait.
Because
wait,
I think of a scorpion. I think that's a scorpion, bro.
the-
What, Jorge?
so your first instinct when you hear the joke that you don't understand is to assume that it's wrong.
No, I was just like, my first instinct was, is that right? Are scorpions arachnids? Like that was my first instinct. But like, of
Bro, I
course,
just looked it up and that's true. Everything you said is true.
Everything you said is true, dude. They're all arachnids, dude. But of course, the inverse to saying it is, I thought the joke was wrong. But in the moment in the movie, I was like, is that true? Are scorpions arachnids?
That's funny.
hilarious.
If
You're
you
hilarious.
look at them, they kind of look like spiders with tails.
Exactly, but I'm just like, that's a spider with a
They have-
tail. Like, I don't think
they
of
have-
that as a
I
spider.
mean, technically,
They have like the same like common ancestor.
I mean, crabs are kind of arachnids.
Crabs are crustaceans.
No,
Crustacean.
but
Oh,
they
no.
again have the same
Common
ancestor.
as
Also, again, the super epic fight.
What are we talking about?
The super
This is your
epic
fault.
fight
This is Ethan's
happens.
fault.
The super epic fight happens, and then Eggman kills Gerald. He dies on screen in a hell of a bug zapper. After Tails and Knuckles save him, and then after they finish taking out those Eggman's robots, basically Eggman is like, yes, the arc. Oh my god, the Eclipse cannon exploding will kill everyone. And then him and Shadow teleport the Eclipse cannon away after it blows a hole in the moon.
Oh, you're
after
forgetting the
Sonic
most important. You're forgetting the most important part.
Oh, yes.
He does his little. He does his like broadcast to the world.
Well, I didn't get to that part yet. I wasn't. Him and Shadow attempt to save the Earth from blowing up, and then Eggman does his announcement to Earth, People of Earth announcement, and then blows up. Sonic and Shadow. Well, no, Shadow dies. They make it to Earth, and they are like, "Yay, we're a team."
You're
And they
forgetting
have-
the most important part.
What is the other most important part?
Dr. Robotnik's message to Stone.
I just said that.
No, you didn't bring up the fact
you just
that
grazed it, bro.
You just skipped. You just
you
skipped
skipped
over
it.
it.
Oh,
You didn't bring up the
okay.
fact that
Fuck.
he's talking specifically to Dr. Stone,
You
Agent
did it.
Stone, to Agent Stone, and you guys, I'm gonna admit, I flat out thought he was about to say "I love you."
I wish he did too. I wish
You
he
should
did too.
have. It would have been so brave. Whatever, man. Whatever's.
You're a sicko friend.
and then the movie ends. Pretty much, they save the day, and the movie ends.
I want to mention how
I have
dope
a-
it is. Again, back with like where I said that Maria and Shadow's flower field conversation is a direct reflection of a lot of conversations they had on the arc in the game continuity. I think it's also really freaking cool. This kind of hammered the whole reflection kind of thing that was going on in my brain while I was watching. I think it's very cool how Sonic this time around was the one who was not used to the super, like the Chaos Emerald's energy, and he was the one fading out of the super form when they were redirecting the arc or the God damn it, what's it called? The cannon's
cannon.
laser. And I thought that was so freaking cool how it completely mirrored SA2's version, where SA2, it was Shadow who was inexperienced with chaos energy. And because he was so inexperienced, he literally died and fell to Earth. Whereas Sonic this time around was the one who died, or didn't die, but he was on the crash. He was like literally on the course that Shadow was gonna, did in SA2. I thought that was
collision on
really,
a
really
crash course
interesting.
to Earth, you could say.
Oh, shout outs to Tails and Knuckles, by the way, just being the goats of this movie.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they were
in that part.
Oh my
Also,
God.
the random Sonic Boom reference in that scene. Did you guys see that?
I didn't catch that one.
What?
I didn't notice this until someone posted it after my second watch. Someone posted like when Knuckles is like Team Sonic, and he's like, "How about just Team?" That is word for word from Rise of Lyric.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But also,
Good.
why? But also, I don't mind it.
They also kind of referenced Sonic X with the Shadow's death. No,
Oh, with the limiter rings.
the inhibitor rings.
Yeah, but that has just
Season-
become canon at this point.
Well, no. When I say like Sonic
He
X,
didn't
I
go,
mean, like,
"I am Shadow the Hedgehog."
Well, when I mean Sonic X, I mean like I'm not talking about like his death like in the SA2 adaptation. I'm talking about like his death in like the Meta X saga.
Mm.
Oh, okay. That,
You know,
okay.
like when he like, well, not his death, but like his fucking like disappearance. When he like warps the fucking the thing.
Oh,
Right.
you're
And then
right.
in the after credits scene, you see him like he's still alive when he like picks his ring up. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He was
the
a
other
good
the what
hedgehog.
about the mid?
I want to talk about something else first.
Okay.
Go ahead, my friend.
I might be crucified. I might be killed. I might be hunted. Not even in that order, but I don't know what's going on. You guys, I think the live and learn use was kind of sucky.
No, you're right.
It was kind of.
I won't
really
disagree,
bad.
but also I'm just happy to have it at all. So.
I was happy. Like, here's the thing: it started playing, and it was like like it was building up, and you're like, oh hell yeah, they're gonna do it, and then it's like live and learn, you're like yeah, and it stops,
And then you just get badge the fucking.
and then it cuts to Eggman getting his ass slapped, and it was like oh, and then it doesn't come back. Like you get like a couple seconds of like music that vaguely sounds like live and learn when they're like fighting those Eggman's robots.
Oh no, that was Live and Learn. It was just instrumental.
Yeah, but like
That's what Seth is saying.
it has like Junkie XL
Isms.
Like
his
let
trademark rising and falling synths with drum beat stock noise in background, and and then it cut back to Eggman, and like the song stops again, and it's like in a better edit the Eggman Gerald stuff would have happened, and then Sonic and Shadow would have teamed up, and then Live and Learn would have played to completion. And that's the biggest thing about this movie is like I feel like Live and Learn was completely wasted. Because like to me, if you were to say let's make an SA2 tribute adaptation, whatever you want to call it, movie, in my head, you have Live and Learn play the whole song through the whole final battle, and then it tops the charts, and like kids are singing Live and Learn, like it should have been like this big thing, and I felt like it was just relegated to small Easter egg.
I don't know, man.
I can
All they-
understand. I just don't hold the sentiment, but I can understand where you're coming from. I think I do agree that the the cutting to Eggman and Gerald stuff was like at its peak repetition during that part for sure. But I don't know. It's weird. I think I th- I think I'm just stuck on the fact that I'm just happy that it was even there at all. Which is like it's very diminishing. It's very much like, oh, be grateful that it was even there at all. Like it does sound like that. I'm aware, but it's like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they there was a part of me that's like there's a part of me that was like I feel like I was happy with it when it was happening. But I guess second
I-
time around, I was like
In the-
very, focused on, that.
Exactly. First
I'm
time
gonna-
it didn't bother me as much. Second time I'm just like, oh no.
I just wanted to hear the song, bro. That's
Yeah.
really all I want. That's all I wanted, and it's just like, and then like you fucking, it's like blue balls, dude. I don't fucking know.
It felt like going on a roller coaster, and like
That ends too fast.
Sonic and Shadow are talking to each other, and you hear the and it's building up and building up. You're like, here we go. It's like that's the part of the roller coaster where you're going up the hill, right? And at the top of the hill, you're like, all right, here we go. We're gonna go super fast down the hill. No, you went down for like a second, and then it was over.
And I'm like, because I saw a tweet, and it was like, the best use of live and learn ever is the final scene of Nazo Unleashed Act 3. I'm like, yeah. Because
Oh, come on,
when he goes,
No, I
whoa, 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 oh yeah, and then fucking yeah, and you're like,
And it syncs up to the beam struggle and like all of the. Well, that's a fan thing.
that's
But
a
it's
fan
still
thing,
really
but,
good.
Like,
It's a fan thing, but we
it's a
can't
really good
deny that
film.
it's
It's a-
influenced. Like it's played a large influence in the a lot of fans' expectations. I can't lie. I feel like fan stuff in general these days had a lot of I don't know, man. I feel like live and learn for the longest time. I don't think, like, for starters, I feel like Sonic X also has not an issue, but I feel like
Choose your
it
words.
plays it. Hey, I'm
carefully.
gonna kill you, Ethan. You better shut your mouth. You sit down
Okay.
when I speak, okay? I
Oh,
was gonna say,
Yeah,
was
we get a
gonna
little,
say,
we get a
I
little
think
saucy here on
Sonic
Figure
X.
8.
I think Sonic X also plays it a little later than I personally would have wanted to be during that part of the arc.
But
or
it
por-
lasts
dur-
for like 2 minutes.
It does last
It lasts
for
for
2
a
minutes.
while.
But I feel like Live and Learn, growing up, Live and Learn was the song that plays when the characters are like getting shit done. And to an extent in Sonic X, it pretty much is when they're getting shit done. It's when the characters are kind of, especially Shadow, it's kind of breaking his limits and making sure that the space colony arc doesn't fall onto the planet, right? But I feel like there's that kind of thought that, like, I wish that kind of thought that I would have handled if I was in charge. I would have handled Live and Learn differently. Kind of persists in other Sonic media, to an extent.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what happened in Sonic Movie 3. The tune is all throughout the soundtrack.
To an extent, I would also say that I feel like Live and Learn. I feel like Live and Learn is, in my opinion, from my experience, I feel like Live and Learn has really truly ever been, like, tributed to its fullest, the way that I would want it to be in a lot of fan works, more so than official material. I feel like I have a caveat for Live and Learn in even SA2 as well. I feel like Live and Learn Live and Learn plays throughout the battle. It plays throughout the whole entire, boss battle. So I won't give it too much flack there, but I feel like I remember when I was a kid, replaying SA2, I did wish that it was still kind of in the final cutscene as well. But that's kind of what I'm
was that
saying.
because you had seen Sonic X first?
No, I didn't watch Sonic X. I didn't watch Sonic X subbed or Japanese
I
until,
don't think
like,
it was
much later.
available.
Okay,
Yeah, it wasn't.
okay.
It wasn't
At the
available.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
But it wasn't. It's not like and I'm saying this, and I say playing Sonic Adventure 2 in replays as a kid, and not initial time. I played it because by the time I was replaying the game as a kid, my mind had, like, Live and Learn's kind of cult following was kind of implanted in my mind even further from, like, fan creations like Nazo Unleashed. So,
I
don't know. I feel like I feel like I was kind of I feel like I was kind of I wasn't as hard on it as I feel like I would have for the movie, because I feel like, in my opinion, from my experience, that I feel like live and learn the way I feel like it's never been handled the way that I would have done it. But then again, it is not my franchise, it's not my series. You know, it's literally going like, well, I would have driven us to this, and that. I would have beat him. You know, it's like, you know,
I come from the school, not the school, but I come from
the asylum.
from watching a lot of anime and more recently like toku stuff.
Yeah,
So and when there are big climactic battles, the song starts playing,
yeah,
and they let it play, and it's always so sad. Like it can be the exact same song for 3 episodes in a row, and it still hits every time because they let the song play. They let it play. They let you sit in the emotion that song is trying to create, and they let it, and they don't interrupt it. And I wish that a Sonic movie like a Sonic movie, the series that has so much amazing hype music, would just use it and let it play. I'm grateful that we got Live and Learn at all, but I'm a little salty, I guess.
Look, it was looking real dicey for a while with Live and Learn. So yeah,
Like-
I'm grateful to have it at all.
I'm grateful to have it all, but forgive me for being a little salty that it just didn't play. And I feel like it would have worked a lot better in the movie because we kind of established the Live and Learn as like the Maria leitmotif a little bit. And how cool would it have been if the song that like we've adapted as Maria's leitmotif started at the beginning and then played all the way in the end? That would have been awesome. So hopefully in Sonic Movie 4 we get another Crush 40 song and they let us eat it. They let us taste it.
Shout out to Tyson Hess, by the way.
Shout outs to Tyson
Word
Hess,
up,
who I
guys.
believe without him we wouldn't have the designs that we have now, but we also wouldn't have had the Live and Learn in the movie at all. I know
Word
he
up,
he
guys.
fought hard and he fought well.
He is one of the executive producers
Yeah.
on this film. So like he has the power to do it. Even more so, I think. No?
I think I've exhausted all my thoughts on the movie proper. Again, I really liked it, and I really do think that you should see it if you haven't, if you're still watching the video by this point. Despite its issues, it's a good fun time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
yeah. It's peak. So I have issues, quote unquote, with it, but it's a dream come
I
true.
mean-
Too much for me.
Again, I think my biggest thing is that the creators just did not understand what made certain iconography important to the story of SA2.
What do you mean?
My freaking okay, so a couple of things. I already talked about it before, but the prison cell, that one makes me the most mad. I think the absolute most mad because it just doesn't understand what the prison cell is. And I don't know how you don't understand what the prison cell is. Like man rambling at the end of his life, insanity.
It's also the programming for the arc crashing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then just like blueprints for the Eclipse cannon, like what? Makes no sense. Hate that they even put that in there. It would have been better if they didn't show the prison cell at all, honestly, cuz like I just hate that entire thing.
You know what the issue is?
What?
Gerald Robotnik was not executed by firing squad in this fucking movie.
Exactly.
It
Get
is
them
not-
out. Get him out of here.
Gerald. Okay, no. This is the and I've been wanting to fucking talk about fucking Gerald fucking Robotnik, bro, for like a hot minute. Cause like, what the fuck was that, bro? Like, who said, yo, Jim? So we're gonna put you in some makeup, bro, and you're gonna like play like an older like you're gonna play your character's grandfather, and he's like this super tragic character. He's like this scientist who's like he made all these weapons, he made all these like creations, and then he lost, and then when he lost his granddaughter, he went insane, and he like fucking became like, and he wanted to fucking destroy the planet. He wanted to destroy the planet that took away his granddaughter from him. I'm like, okay, and like they kind of talk about that, but it gets lost in the sauce of this like weird megalomaniac. I don't care about my family. I don't care about my grandson. I hate everybody. Fucking like mentality that the fucking the Gerald like exudes, and it just took me out of this character that should have been much better and much more respected than he actually was, and it makes me mad. But otherwise, everything else is fine.
I think that was Jim's doing. I can't lie. I don't think that was. I think Jim has a lot more control over these movies than, especially of Eggman and his character, a lot more than the I feel like if Jim wants to do something with Eggman, then it's his word. So I feel
do
like,
it with Eggman. Don't do it with the fucking guy who died.
oh, I mean Gerald too, dude. Like I feel like if he wants, I feel like a lot of things that they did with Eggman and Gerald, once they were like, okay, man, you can play both. I feel like then like Jim was like, okay, we're doing this the way I want to. I don't think there was any executive meddling until they casted Jim for Gerald. Honestly, I wish that they didn't have. I mean, I think that's a shared opinion upon
I think
many.
our collective, we even talked about it like way back when on the pod, like somebody else should play Gerald, right?
Yeah.
Was that what it is?
I was a Bryan Cranston Gerald.
Oh yeah.
For a while.
Because he's just like Bryan Cranston would have been
I
perfect.
said Mark Hamill.
Or Mark Hamill or something.
You would've
like
been
that.
good too.
It was somebody. There was a lot of fan casting going on in the build to this movie, and a lot of it just, I don't know. It's just, I don't think, because I feel like Gerald is such an interesting character. Is an interesting character when you look at him through the lens of SA2 and not through the lens of Shadow 05.
Yes.
Because he's like, because like you just see him like give this like manifesto on the arc, and then you hear, is that all? All right, ready, men, fire, and you just fucking hear the gunshots. I'm like, dude, this shit's peak.
I really
why?
hate, again, like this kind of stems back to like why isn't Maria sick? Like, why doesn't the Ark have a built-in suicide clock? Like, not the Ark, the Eclipse Cannon. Sorry movie for your
You're
poor
right.
choices.
The countdown was like, it was part of the, I feel like the countdown is like half the drama. Like, we gotta stop the Ark before this shit happens.
If we stop the bio lizard, why is the countdown still going? Like I don't like, why was the countdown not allowed to be in the movie? Like, just because it's not as big as the Ark, like Eggman already gives a reason that radiation poisoning will kill everyone no matter what. So even if the Ark isn't, oh my god, even if the cannon isn't as big as the Ark, it having a countdown clock still is such an easy inclusion. I don't know, like, why is that not in the movie? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's whatever. Though.
I think I don't know, man. The entire countdown thing, I don't know. I also realized something recently. Did you SA2? That entire story is pre 9/11.
Yeah.
It's pre 9/11, so like a lot of the things that happen in SA2 would not fly in a post 9/11.
I mean,
no, that's not
Gear
true,
up
because
this
Shadow
a
the
long time
Hedgehog
ago
is
now.
worse.
Oh yeah, true.
Shadow the Hedgehog, literally, they blow up the fucking White House,
Oh yeah.
and they treat everything in that game as super serial. Whereas I feel like in SA2,
super
like
serial.
it's like
But that,
it's
okay,
like
not
super
to-
awesome. It's like super awesome anime final battle, and like
Our
the
threats
serious-
fell on deaf ears.
the
Our
seriousness.
threats fell
comes
on
from-
deaf ears. Oh, it's peak. It's peak. Okay, let's talk about something, because you're like, we wrapped up. I don't have many issues. Look, I don't have issues. I just have things I wish happened. I wanted more direct game dialogue, even if it wasn't in the cards. One thing
There's
I
still some.
begged, there's barely, but one thing I wanted so bad, the only piece of dialogue I wish was in the movie, like genuinely just wish was in the movie, was, "My name is Shadow. I'm the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell." I wanted that so bad because it's so cool, but instead we got, "I don't look like you. You look like me. Why do you look like me?" Like, just comparing that level of dialogue on a level of sauce where we lost the plot. Why couldn't Shadow have said one of the coolest lines of dialogue in the game in the movie, and then he says, "I don't look like you, you look like me"?
Well, it's because he's not the coolest. He doesn't say it.
He doesn't even call himself the ultimate life form, which, fine, whatever, but still, I wanted it just once. All I could have asked for was, "I'm Shadow. I'm the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell." That's all I could have asked for.
Well, you know what you're gonna see, Ethan?
What?
You know what? You're
What?
saying all these things that you want. You're gonna see a lot of course correction in Sonic 4. You're gonna see a lot.
let's
You're
see.
gonna see a lot of course correction. I feel like in Sonic 4, where they're gonna have like Shadow come back, and he's gonna act more like game Shadow, just a little bit.
See,
I think
Shadow.
I think
Oh, go ahead.
they have more room to do the amnesia subplot.
Mm.
Shadow, literally
Dude, Shadow
is
in Sonic scene.
exploding
Well,
in
wait, we
space.
actually didn't talk about the credits scene yet. Seth, go.
No, Boost. Keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I'm gonna talk about the credit scene anyway. Fuck you. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I think that with Shadow surviving, they have more room to do the amnesia subplot and kind of mix it in with his SA2 amnesia with Sonic 4, or maybe not Sonic 4, maybe he might not return in Sonic 4, maybe whatever. But like in the future, I feel like they have more room with the amnesia subplot more than anything. And I think that's going to be really cool because I feel like part of the reason and this is part of why some course corrective might happen. Part of the reason why I feel like Shadow acts the way that he does in SA2, SA2 specifically, is because he has amnesia. Like the dude does not remember shit. So that's part of why he doesn't gloat as much as non-amnesiacs, or as much as, how should I say this? I feel like Shadow in SA2 more so spends most of his time brooding and thinking. And Shadow, there's an element about Shadow that I don't want to say has an ego, even though it is ego. There's an element about Shadow that, has a tendency to go like, "I'm Shadow, I'm the coolest, and you fucking suck, and I'm the ultimate life form," and all that stuff. But I feel like part of what made that so interesting in SA2 was also like him literally not remembering anything but those words in his head. Like, I feel like they have a lot more room with the amnesia subplot, with him only remembering that specific tidbit of information in his brain. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. That's just my take from that.
I definitely think there's going to be a Shadow spin-off, like
I
Paramount
mean,
Plus thing.
I think the sort of thing about me with Shadow is that, like, Shadow has an everlasting level of confidence, even with no memories.
Yeah.
Like, that is just something that is always consistent. So I feel like you can really do anything with an amnesiated Shadow. And it'll stick, as long as it's not like, look, as long as it's not taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me. Like, as long as it's not that,
It's
you're
peak, dude.
you
It's
should
peak.
be
You
fine.
can't deny it. You can't. It's peak.
Because Shadow didn't even remember Sonic and Heroes, yet he's like, "It'll be a date to die for," and he's just like screwing around, like he don't know, but he's having a good time. But okay, this is the thing: Shadow in CD's story, that just sounds so weird to me. That sounds so weird and strange to me.
when you first of all, Amy and Metal Sonic. But when you mention the idea that their inclusion means CD interpretation or tribute specifically, I'm here thinking like, there's no way that they can do CD now. They're gonna mix in heroes. They're gonna mix in. There is no way that's gonna be specifically Sonic CD. There's gonna be heroes in the mix, I think, in there.
I actually have not a prediction. I kind of have an idea for like what Sonic 4 could be about from that scene. But let's talk about that scene actually. I don't want to get into like what we think Sonic 4 is gonna be because I feel like that would actually be that's good enough for its own episode. But let's talk about the after credit scene. We get when not only do we get Amy Rose, we get Metal Sonic and 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 Metal. There's like a army of Metal Sonics, which immediately reminds me of the Fleetway comics.
Yeah,
And that's really exciting.
The Metallic Legion is fucking peak.
We didn't get a voice for Amy though, which kind of sucks. But maybe
this is what I mentioned at the beginning, is that as Jorge was talking about, these characters are sort of written for their voice actors. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot this time because Amy doesn't talk.
Shadow
they didn't
also
want
doesn't talk in his after credit scene though.
But Shadow's asleep. Like that was always going to happen. Shadow was like, they were never going to have Shadow be awake before Sonic Movie 2 starts. Like, it just wouldn't make sense. So that was like, there was no cards where Shadow spoke. Like, to me at least, in my mind, that was never a chance. But Amy easily could have spoke, but they just didn't want to lock themselves into a voice actor or a
Because
actor
is that not what they did with? Because that's what they did with
Colleen. Because they screwed themselves over. Screwed in heavy quotes, because I'm very glad we got Colleen. Thank goodness. But that's the.
What's funny is that the same thing happened with Sonic.
Oh really?
Yeah, Ben Schwartz in an interview said that he was just the temp. He was the scratch audio voice.
Yeah,
and they couldn't find because they wanted like Tom Holland or whoever. There was a big list.
Look, if you want to talk about Ben Schwartz doing the same voice, thank God we didn't get Tom Holland. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's a big list of potential actors for Sonic and Tom that came out, and like Tom Holland was on one of them. I forgot the rest.
Chris Pratt was on the list for Tom.
Yeah, like he's
Chris Pratt was on the list for Tom and Sonic.
They even depict him in the like in some concept art. But yeah, Ben Schwartz was like temp audio, and they couldn't get anyone else, so they were like, "All right, you got the job." And thank God, because he loves doing these movies.
He loves Sonic. I love Sonic.
That's
not what he sounds like.
I love Sonic. I love Sonic.
What are you doing?
I don't fucking know, man. Just leave me alone. Let me live my life. So I'm so sick. Every fucking time I do a bad fucking voice impression, they fucking get on my ass. Like
because it was not good.
Shut up!
Apologize to Ben Schwartz right now.
Return to sender.
Oh, but yeah, the after credit scene is actually like really cool.
It's peak.
We're not getting Sonic 4 for another, I think, 3 years? How old will you be when Sonic 4 comes out?
35,000 years old.
I'm going to be 102. Did you know that?
I'm going to be 27, bro.
You're old as shit, bro.
Fuck you.
If you've made it this far into the video, how old are you going to be in the... Say how old you'll be when Sonic 4 comes out.
Say, ash hole.
Say that too. But yeah, it's cool.
Bro.
Again, good movie. I recommend seeing it, especially if you're a kid, you're gonna love it.
If you're a Snock fan.
If you're a Snock fan, you're gonna appreciate the references. I don't know if you'll love it, to be honest, but you'll come out liking something.
I mean, I'll say that, yeah, for sure. Why not?
You'll come out liking stuff about it, and you might
And guys,
not
I
like
promise
everything.
I like this movie, even if I'm so harsh.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He is such a hater,
What the
bro.
hell,
He does
bro?
not.
Yeah,
like
Ethan
this
hates this
movie.
movie.
All Ethan does is fucking hate.
You caught me. Yeah, this movie sucks.
Fucking hater.
What about
So
you,
fucking
Boost?
Dude, I've fucking I forced this movie to be my favorite movie of all time just because I had Sonic Adventure 2 tribute movie with Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic in it and Super Sonic Fight. I like this movie a lot. I really like this movie. I don't got anything else to say. You will feel how much I love this movie with time
You will
and how
feel
much
my
I appreciate it.
wrath.
Please, guys.
You ungrateful humans who took everything from me.
Hey, that line was kind of in the movie.
It wasn't. Don't even say.
No,
it.
it was kind of. He said the humans who took everything from me. It's not exactly the same, but that's how he ended the sentence.
Oh my god, I almost choked. I think, okay, wait, I did divert, but again, one last little thought. Again, I don't think they understood, like, the moon getting cut in half is supposed to be cool, impactful, epic. It's a mistake in the movie. Lame. Oh my god, Eggman's announcement, boring. It's cool, I like it, but also, it's not attention, people of Earth. Like, come on!
No,
Why
he was
would-
saying goodbye to his lover.
But
How can you
he
hate
should.
It's,
He should have
it's
said.
not. It's not. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a very sad, like somber, like farewell.
I think we've been going on for 3 hours.
Oh my god, bro!
No one's gonna watch
You
this.
you just don't understand the fucking nuances. Make good choices, guys. Don't be like Ethan.
Yeah,
Oh,
and make
yeah,
good choices
Tom.
by hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell so you can get notifications whenever Figure 8 videos drop.
And
Ain't
follow.
no one watch
Remember
this
to
far,
follow.
bro.
And remember to follow Figure 8 on all social media platforms.
Yay! That includes our BlueSky, which we will also link.
Yes.
I keep forgetting to link that in the description.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And now,
Mr. Blue Sky.
I'm so sorry. I had to get. I'm cutting.
Dude,
you off
oh my
real
god,
quick.
just say see you next
Without
see you next
further
adventure.
ado, say it, Seth. Say it. Say it.
See you next adventure, and somebody better call Google Maps.